The nation's capital is the home of the campus of Howard University, and today it's homecoming 2019 as the Bison welcome the Spartans of Norfolk State to Green Stadium for today's MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3. Hello, everyone. Charlie Neal, along with Coach Dr. Henry Frazier, and last year, Dr. The Spartans won a close contest at home against Howard. Let's talk about the keys for the Spartans coming into today's game.
Well, one of the keys for them is definitely their run defense. They're 8th in run defense, but Howard's rushing offense is dead last. So if Norfolk defense can stand to that, rise to that occasion, I think they'll be in good shape.
As for the Bison, how about the keys for them today?
O-line and pass protection. If they can protect the quarterback because they're throwing the ball, because Norfolk State is coming in there with only 3 sacks all season. So if they can protect the quarterback and let Quentin throw the ball on homecoming, it'll be a great day for them.
Let's talk about some key players, starting with the Spartans of Norfolk State. Quarterback Juwan Carter, who's second in the conference in passing and third in total offense.
Pretty dynamic player for Norfolk State. Everything seems to go through him, and he's going to have a great day on homecoming Saturday here in Washington, D.C.
Well, we know Howard has gone with Quentin Williams at quarterback since the departure of Kalen Newton, but let's look at the running back by the name of Dedrick Parsons, a young man who can do it all.
Yes, he can. He's running the ball, he catches the ball, and the return game, he's pretty special in returning the ball.
Well, it's the 29th meeting between these two teams, and it's homecoming 2019 here in the nation's capital. And we'll be back with the opening kickoff between Howard University and Norfolk State in just a moment.
So, we proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
Back here at Green Stadium on the campus of Howard University, homecoming 2019, along with Henry Frazier, Charlie Neal. And it should be a good one here. Trying to get a little overcast skies, a little raindrops a few moments ago, but I don't think it's going to have any effect on the game today, do you?
It should not. It should not. I think it's going to pass us right on by. We're going to have a capacity crowd. Homecoming, Howard University, Washington, D.C., Norfolk State, MEAC football. Great Saturday.
It certainly is, and the Spartans come in with a 1-5 overall record. They're 0-2 as far as conference play is concerned, while the Howard University Bison are looking to make it a second win as far as the conference is concerned, which would put them right near the top with everybody else if they could come out with a victory today.
Hey, the midway of this year, if you near the top in October, you're still playing meaningful football, and that's what you want to be doing, playing meaningful games as you approach November.
No question about it. Of course, this Howard University team started the season with a loss to Maryland. They lost to Youngstown State, Hampton, and before beating Delaware State, they lost to Bethune-Cookman 2 weeks ago and to Harvard a week ago, 62-17. Norfolk State started the season with a loss at Old Dominion. They beat Virginia State, but they've lost 4 straight since then to Coastal Carolina, Montana State, Florida A&M, and North Carolina A&T. So Howard University won the toss. They're deferring to the second half, and Nick Farris has the ball on the tee. He'll be kicking to Tremaine Talbert or Kevin Johnson, and it'll come down to Talbert, and Talbot across the 20 and out to about the 22-yard line, and that's where Norfolk State, the Spartans, will get the ball first down and 10 to start this particular contest. At their own 22, they go with a quarterback by the name of Juwan Carter. We talked about him in the open. 3rd in passing efficiency, total offense in the conference. 2nd in passing offense. Has completed 61% of his passes, 11 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. He's also run for a pair of touchdowns this year. Pretty good offensive line. They're intact from a year ago, with the exception of their center, Dominique Jordan, who replaces Wes Jones, who was a co-captain who started 33 games at Norfolk State and the last 22 of his career. But everybody else is pretty much solid as far as their offensive line is concerned. And it kind of shows when they get down to the red zone as they keep the ball on the ground. And with a good move to the outside and Kevin Johnson. And the ball comes loose at Howard University. No, they're going to say he's down. I'm going to say he's down.
And he's doing a lot of dancing out there, Charlie. I mean, he's faking in and out. He needs to get his shoulder pads squared north and south and just hit it and go.
Well, he picked up about 7 yards on the play, make it 6. And it'll be second down. Second down, make it 5. Second down at about 5. James in motion. Now the throw out of the backfield. It goes to Savage. And Savage down the sideline and finally run out of bounds in front of his own bench, but not before he crosses the midfield stripe. And finally running him out of bounds down there was Jalen Smith from Howard University.
That was a nice football play. They just kind of had him a swing pass. Howard was trying to bring pressure, hit the running back on a swing pass for a nice chunk of yardage. And then they're in Howard University's territory just on the second play.
Certainly are. Great play. No score. We're just getting underway here. High snap, and here's the handoff to Savage going off the right side, and Savage still on his feet. Savage inside the 20, down to the 11-yard line is where Mr. Savage, Aaron Savage, a co-captain of redshirt senior out of Dunbar High in Baltimore, Maryland, takes it down the field.
That was just man-on-man football, Charlie. Zone blocking right off the right-hand side. He got to the second level so fast and gave him a nice stiff arm when he got to the third level.
Kevin Johnson checks back into the lineup for the Spartans on offense. He's the running back, and he gets the ball, cuts it off to the right side, inside the 5 and down to the 3.
And that's what I'm talking about. One cut, plant, get your shoulder square, and hit the yard. That's what you need to do. All that dancing ain't necessary.
They're going quick without the huddle, and it catches the defense a little bit off balance. This is a team that's #1 in the conference in red zone offense. They're there now, and here's Johnson going around right side. He's in with a 3-yard touchdown run.
Wow, what an impressive drive, Charlie. 4 or 5 plays on the ground, 1 in the air, running the ball to the right-hand side. They may have found something on Howard University's left defensive side, but that was an impressive opening drive.
And that is his first rushing touchdown this season as they bring on the Brian Richter, sophomore out of California, who will attempt the point after. He is 32. And the kick is up. And this one is good. And this one just underway, and right down the field they go, 78 yards. The Spartans draw first blood here on homecoming for the Howard Bison, 7-0 with 12:54 to go, first quarter. Well, that drive, 78 yards, didn't take the Spartans long to get down the field. Of course, just under 3 minutes.
And I tell you, it could be a very long day for Howard University if they allow a team to run the ball with that type of success. Because if you don't have to throw the ball as a coach, you're not going to throw it. And that was very easy for
Norfolk State. One pass, the whole drive.
And it was to a running back. So the running backs touched the ball pretty much every single play on that possession.
So delay of game on the Spartans for trying to take too much time to kick the ball off.
I know that has to get at Coach Scott. I mean, how do you do that? You get your great drive, touchdown, great extra point. Get on the field. It's the kickoff. Maybe they thought it was a timeout or something. I don't know. Playing a TV game, but you can't give up 5 yards like that.
Howard University, 2 deep men for them. Boyd is on one side. Jalen Smith the other to come down to Boyd at the 15. Across the 20. Spins outside and will not get to the 25-yard line as he lost his helmet. Somebody lost the helmet. One of the Spartans from Norfolk State's helmet came loose. That was number 55 for the Spartans. That's Cephas Carter, the linebacker, redshirt senior. So he's going to have to sit out for at least one play.
Yeah, but if he continued to make that tackle, Charlie, then they may call that penalty on him, because once your helmet comes off, you have to cease. Yeah, that's the call. I mean, once your helmet comes off, you have to stop. And he continued to play even with the helmet off.
So it's a 15-yard penalty, and that'll move the ball all the way out to about the 35-yard line. And it'll be first down and 10 for Howard University.
It's great field position for them and their freshman quarterback, and see if they can kind of counter that awesome drive by Norfolk's offense.
Edric Parsons back there, but they go around the side with Ailey coming to the near side, and Neil Ailey runs it for a first down, a gain of 13 yards on that run by Jordan Ailey.
Yeah.
Ailey, a junior out of King George, Virginia.
Little speed sweep. Looks like they're going to go tempo as well.
First down and 10 for the Spartans. They move the chains on the first play. They get a first down, and Ailey's going in motion. This time it's Parsons. And up the middle goes Parsons, and Parsons is inside the 45 to the 43-yard line of the Spartans of Norfolk State.
Nice, strong inside run. Made the first defender miss. Good jab. Got his shoulder squared, went north and south, and picked up another 10, 11 yards.
And another first down for the Bison of Howard University. Again, it's Parsons on the run off the left side, and a host of jerseys on in white are there to meet him defensively, led by Nigel Chavis, one of the co-captains at the middle linebacker spot for the Spartans.
Now, hey, Nigel has mean intentions when he gets there, Charlie. He's one of those guys leading the team in tackles. He's all over the field. And then if Howard offensive line can't get second level and get some pass on, he'll be one of those 20 tackle days for him.
11:57 to go here in the first quarter of play. There's a penalty flag down. Let's see, it must be against Howard. Unsportsmanlike conduct. And it's going to go, I believe, against number 84, David Terrell, a wide receiver, is who they called it on. Junior out of Chicago, Illinois. So it was unsportsmanlike, the kind of penalties coaches cannot afford to have.
And it was dead ball, so they still lose the down. Horrible.
Here's a pass over the middle, and it's complete. And again, on the reception is Ailey. He's all over the place, running the ball on the sweeps, catching passes out of the backfield. And is a junior, 5'8", 177 pounds, and that is his third reception of the year.
One of those little slot guys. He's wearing the right number 11, little Julian Edelman type guy.
Yes, indeed.
He's kind of be quick and just possession receiver.
Just a pain in your side, right? Here he goes in motion right now. Back to pass is Quentin Williams. Looking, has a man open, and is caught at the 20. Inside the 20 is Cornwell, and Cornwell gives him great field position inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. Michael Cornwell, 15th reception of the year for the junior, redshirt junior from Owings Mill, Maryland.
One of those things we talked about, Charlie. The offensive line gave Quentin time, great pocket. Kid stepped up, strike across the middle. Norfolk only had 3 sacks all year.
Al Anthony goes to the top of the screen. That's the man you want to watch out for. The quarterback keeps it this time, and he gets inside the 10-yard line. And number 55 loses his helmet again.
Yeah, this kid needs another chin strap or something. I mean,
that's Harden. Cephas Harden loses his helmet for the second time. But it'll be second down. They can still get a first down without scoring. They have to get to the 3-yard line. They would get a penalty. We're going to get a false start against Howard.
Just the signs of teams that are struggling, just continue to make these bad penalties at bad times and just really shoot themselves in the foot.
They're 8th in the conference out of 9 teams that play football in the MEAC in red zone offense. And that equals 62%, 18 of 29 in the red zone. Parsons, straight up the middle goes Parsons for 2. And he's in for 6.
Great play. One of the guys we talked about. Offensive line did a great job. They blocked. They keep doing this misdirection, bringing things across. Zone read. Quarterback made the proper read. Touchdown, Parsons.
So Parsons takes it straight ahead. He picks up his second rushing touchdown of the year. Farris is on for the point after. He's only missed 2 this year. 11 of 13. So Parsons trying to even the score with 10:13 to go. It's up. It is through the uprights, and it is good. And we're all tied at 7 apiece here in the nation's capital. It's Norfolk State and Spartan, and it's homecoming 2019 in the nation's capital.
Timeless machine.
Henry Frazier for University. Drop down the field by Spartans with a drive of their own that covered 65 yards.
Hey, Charlie, we may be in for an old-fashioned shootout today.
Well, these two teams play it close every time they play each other, as this one comes down to Talbot again, and Talbot still running, and Talbot out to the 25-yard line. So this will be Norfolk State's second possession of the afternoon, and they'll start at their own 25. First down and 10, and we're all tied. We're all tied at 7 apiece. Evan Johnson doing a fantastic job for this Spartan team.
And he's similar to Parsons for Howard. You know, he returns the ball a little bit, and as well as their running back. So he's one of those guys that I think keep an eye on for the day.
They mark actually the ball at the 26-yard line. And it is Kevin Johnson in the backfield beside his quarterback, Jawan Carter. Carter calling the signals, gets the ball, hands it off. Johnson trying to turn the corner, run out of bounds, no gain on the play, and a late flag comes in from the referee. Our officials today, Anthony Singleton is our referee.
Yeah, looks like
Troy Singleton, rather.
Like Coach took a hit on the sideline as well, and so late hit. Coach went down, lost the shoe and everything. That's the hardest hit I've seen all year.
Well, personal foul out, late hit out of bounds, and it goes against Howard University.
Coach coaching with one shoe right now. He got knocked out of his shoes, man. Wow.
You're not talking about the head coach, are you?
I believe
Latrell
so.
Scott?
I think Coach Scott, he got one shoe on, Charlie. That might be a top tenner.
The ball moved all the way out to the 43-yard line. First down and 10 for the Spartans in this tie ball game. Pulls it out, looking up top, and it is caught.
Oh, wow.
And just out of bounds just before he could cross the goal line on that great long pass, and on the reception for Silent McElhenney, the junior from Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Oh, wow. I guess Coach still have on one shoe. He called it down up a bomb.
6th reception this year, and that went a long, long way, didn't it?
Oh, wow. Great pass protection, one-on-one coverage, beautiful pass.
Savage in the backfield with beside his quarterback, Jawan Carter, to his right. It goes to Savage. He goes off the left side and gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard.
That was great penetration by Howard's defensive line. They was able to change the line of scrimmage for a minimum gain.
That pass was 53 yards to McElhenney.
I can't say it enough, Charlie. He's on the 27-yard line with one shoe coaching.
He's out of the coach's box, ain't he?
I think they just gave him his shoe back, so maybe let's see what this call is going to be.
It is Savage. They try to go right with Jones again, trying to sweep and get his second touchdown of the day, and he's run out of bounds, and a late flag comes on.
I'll tell you, there's a lot of flags on this play. I don't know what this could possibly be. Or maybe it didn't horse collar. He grabbed it, but he didn't bring him down. He was about 3 yards out of bounds. A lot of jawing going back and forth. You got 2 1-5 teams. There's always going to be a little trash talk.
Christian White was the man who lost his helmet, and he was out of bounds. Coach Prince told him to go back in the lineup. Don't come out. Put your helmet on. Maybe the officials don't realize. Personal foul, face mask. And it's against the offense. Maybe that's why he lost his helmet. The offense player pulled his helmet off.
Yeah, and Johnson's a speed guy. It looks like he wants to bounce everything and get outside, and he probably should have planted that one up and just turned in and would have got what he could get. And him trying to bounce it outside, he stiff arm, grabbed his face mask, cost his team. But again, they're in the red zone, Charlie. They're very efficient when they get down here.
Second and goal from the 19 of Howard. Back to pass. Carter looks over the middle and is complete to James. James walks into the end zone untouched by human hands.
Well, missed tackle. I mean, they had the right defense call. The guy, you got to make a play. One-on-one coverage. They come to you. You have to make a play from a defensive standpoint. But again, Carter found the one-on-one coverage, stepped up in the pocket. He was about to run. Receiver came into his vision. Nice look. Toss and catch. Touchdown.
Nardone for the point after, the junior, 7th in the MEAC in scoring. 16 of 18 in PATs this year. Let's see if this is 17 of 18, and it is. And it's a 14-7 ball game here. Each team has scored on each possession, and we've had 3 touchdowns in the first 7 minutes of this contest.
Well, I'm an offensive guy, Charlie, so it's going to be a great day.
And that was a 74-yard drive, 74-yard drive by the Spartans. Timeout on the field. And we have a 14-7 ball game. Norfolk State on top. You're watching the MEAC.
Done this. So let's get after it. What would you like the power to do?
The world's never gotten enough of it. So, we proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
14-7, our score, each 17 remaining in the first quarter. And of course, it's homecoming, and the band is in rare form, and everybody's ready to come back from the yard, right?
Oh, you better know it, Charlie. They had all the traffic blocked, all the streets blocked off.
And you had to walk 3 miles to get here?
Yeah.
Well, also in the area, Bowie's homecoming is today, your alma mater, as is Morgan State over in Baltimore.
It's homecoming all in the region.
It certainly is. This return by Boyd. And Boyd is down the sideline, and Boyd is out of bounds in front of the bench, and they're going to get a late flag against Norfolk State because he was out of bounds and pushed by one of the Spartans defenders.
Clearly he was. He was at least 3 yards out of bounds. You just got to have better discipline. But again, when both teams are 1-5, you're going to have these type of penalties. This is the reason why they're 1-5. But again, the defenses are going to have to step up. If not, they're going to just continue to go up and down the field, which I have absolutely no problem watching.
Well, what happened? Maybe they picked it up. Because the ball is going to be at their own 42-yard line. That is Howard University. Their second offensive possession of the day. And straight ahead goes Parsons, and Parsons to midfield. A gain of 7 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 3. We'll make it 2nd down and 2. We'll give him 8 on that run.
I really like Parsons as a runner. I mean, he recognizes, he plant and go right away.
And this time, Parsons brings it to the right side, has a first down, and buries his head and barrels into the 40, down to the 39-yard line.
Again, he would touch this ball 25 to 30 times a day. He's in the zone, made the first defender miss, got to the perimeter, planted, and went right downhill for a great run.
Came into the game with 334 yards rushing, averaging 6 yards a carry. And you see why. Look at him. He picks up another first down for the Bison of Howard University as they continue to move the ball down the field.
It's real soft in the middle right now, Charlie. And I think Coach Princeton at that Howard offensive line realizes that, and they're going to just keep pounding that ball.
In run defense, this Norfolk State team is next to last in the conference. They're 8th against the run. High formation this time. Here's Parsons tripped up in the backfield Not much running room for him that time.
And what they did was they pulled the backside guard and they pulled the center, which they had no one to fill for the defensive tackle. And all he did was chase the pull and made the play. But to be honest, that's one of those zone reads where he has to pull it and there's no one over there to stop it.
We have not seen Kyle Anthony catch a pass today. Flag is going to go down. We're going to false start against Howard. This will be after the loss of 3 on the previous play. We're going to get a false start, which is going to move it back 5 more yards. So it'll be 2nd down and 18 rather than 2nd and 13.
Well, you know, they've shooting themselves in the foot once again, but last possession they did the same thing and was able to overcome. Let's see if they're able to do that now, because what's going to happen, they're going to be forced to pass. Which again, Norfolk has absolutely no pass rush to talk about, and Quentin should have enough time to find a wide open receiver.
Well, he's back to pass. Has time, throws it, and it's almost intercepted. Very close to being intercepted that time by Cephas Harden. Young man who keeps losing his helmet.
And I was going to say, his helmet stayed on that time. And that was a very athletic play by the linebacker. What he did was tipped it and almost caught it. Again, he held the ball as long as he can. He had 4 seconds to throw the ball, and then the pocket began to collapse, and they kind of hit his arm when he threw.
Anthony at the top of your screen, Alay in the slot. He comes to Alay on a little comeback counter play, but it doesn't go anywhere as the defense of the Spartans was reading it all away, led by Nigel Chavis, and they lost another yard. So it'll bring up a 4th down and 19. Now, it looks like Coach Prince may be going for it on 4th downs this year. They're 6 of 19 in 4th down conversions for the season. 32%, ranks them 7th in the conference in that department. Now the quarterback decides he's going to take off and run, but he's going to be way, way short of a 1st down. He had to get to the 17-yard line. He stopped at the 22, about 5 yards shy.
I would like for him just to throw it up at that point. The likelihood of you getting 17 yards when they drop 7 into coverage is slim to none. And again, one of those rookie mistakes. And our coach is letting the offensive line have it, but I thought they did a good job of pass pro. He stepped up in the pocket, and Norfolk baited him into running the ball.
We're taking a timeout. 14-7, Norfolk State with the ball. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3.
The world's never gotten enough of it. So, we proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
So they did, yeah.
5:38 to go, first quarter, 14-7, our score here. And homecoming 2019 for Howard University. And you look at the mural on the wall of Crampton Auditorium to our left here from where we sit in the press box, featuring some of the different athletics that are in play here at Howard University. Soccer and football, of course, lacrosse, basketball, track and field. They've done very well, especially on the ladies' side in sports over the last couple of years. Volleyball has really been dominant also. 1st down and 10 for the Spartans at their own 22, leading by a touchdown. And their quarterback, Jawan Carter, has them up to the line. This time coming to the left side with Kevin Johnson. And Johnson is really sandwiched there. What a hit that time. And that was, I believe that was, let's see who that was that came over with that hit. Was that 96?
98, it looks like 98.
Tyler Fuller. 98's a kicker.
And kickers can hit sometimes. Not this time.
Coming back to the opposite side and running the ball with Savage. And Savage, not much room for him that time. There's number 96 again. He's feeling it. Tyler Fuller, senior out of Houston, Texas.
That's awesome. That's awesome. They bowed down a little bit on the defensive line. They was able to get some penetration, and now forced in a 3rd and long for Norfolk.
3rd and about 8 for the Spartans. 3rd down conversions this year. They're 2nd in the conference in converting, 41%. In motion goes James. There's the quarterback, Carter, running, trying to get to the first down marker. He will be 2 yards shy as he's buried right at the 30-yard line.
It's a good job. Howard got beat a few times on man-to-man coverage in those first 2 possessions of them long passes. This time they showed a little 3-man front, dropped 8, played some zone, and was able to rally to make a tackle to force fourth down.
First time we've seen the punter today for Norfolk State. That's Ryan Richter, sophomore out of Temecula, California. He's averaging 56 yards per punt, high snap. Gets off a good kick. Fair catch being made by Howard University's A.J. Boyd right at about the 36-yard line. So that's where Howard will go to work for their 3rd possession of the day.
One thing to note, Charlie, on that punt, it looks like Howard got away. They just turned and ran, and I'm sure the Norfolk coaches will be looking at that. I mean, he could have probably turned and ran and got
it looked like he wanted to run at first when he looked at it.
Because at the whole off defensive line or the punt return team for Howard turned and ran. It was only 4th and 3. He could have just got the first down, but I know coach would have got him that deep in their territory. But that's something to think about as we go down later in the game.
Now Anthony goes to the far side this time on 1st down and 10. And the quarterback looking, throws out of the backfield, has it complete to Cornwell, his 2nd reception of the day. Cornwell close to the first down, right at about the 46-yard line. Let's see if they're going to give it to him. Yes, they are. They're going to mark it a first down for Cornwell.
A little play action play. They dragged the tight end backside and was able to pick up a first down.
This time David Terrell is at the top. Anthony in the slot. Looking for Anthony and nowhere to run. Not much running room for the quarterback, Quentin Williams, who gets right about the midfield stripe and right across just about a yard into Norfolk State territory. So it'll be a gain of 5. We'll call it 2nd down and 5.
Positive play. The protection broke down. The defenders made good coverage. He picked up positive yards.
Under 3 minutes to go in the first quarter, and they keep it on the ground this time. Very close to another first down. Depending on where the spot is, they do consider it a first down run for LA. Correction, it was not LA, that was Parson rather. LA comes back into the lineup. So 2 first downs on this drive for Howard University, trailing by a touchdown. We're still in the first quarter. This is LA in motion there to give him on the sweep to the left side. Still on his feet. Bounces inside the 30. And a late flag comes out. And it comes out on this side by one of the down referees. They're going to call offensive pass interference or holding. Let's see.
I mean, this
side judge is calling this way down here.
Absolutely nothing to do with the play. I mean, we're talking 40 yards away from the play.
But how can you call pass interference? First of all, it was not a pass play.
I don't know what he called. I mean, I don't think it was pass interference. It looked like he did a holding call or something, but it was literally over here by the 20-yard line. They were
going to say, because I sure wouldn't pass interference because it was not a pass on the play.
I don't even know why the side judge even was looking at something like that.
And inside pass, and that brings up 2nd down. That penalty nullified the long gain. So the ball is spotted right inside the 40-yard line. It'll be 2nd down, 2nd and 6, we'll call it.
Yeah, the penalties have really hurt Howard this afternoon. They just have to clean those penalties up. They're getting good execution on their plays.
Well, they came in as the 4th least penalized team in the conference. But again, that was close to being intercepted. With a lot of zip on that particular pass, and Norfolk State's Rashard Russell was the man who had his hands on it, just couldn't hold it.
Yeah, good pass protection again. Quarterback, nice tall quarterback, stood up. The ball got away from him, a little high pass.
3rd down and 6. Long pass going down the field. And a flag is being thrown, and it's going to go against Rashard Russell this time because he was pushing the receiver, which was David Terrell Jr., which is uncatchable. But
yeah, that was a makeup call from the last time. I mean, they were running side by side, and just looked like a good defensive play to me. And the high pass was uncatchable, but. So I guess they made it all even now.
John Drayton, the head linesman, was the man who threw the flag that time. So it's first down and 10 for Howard University. The ball spotted right at about the 24-yard line. Parsons shifts to the left side of his quarterback. And Parsons has the ball, breaks into the secondary, second level, and Parsons still rolling down inside the 15 to about the 12-yard line. They'll mark it at the 13, first and 10.
Good hard football run that time. Straight zone blocking, man on man. He finds the opening, plant, and get north and south very quickly.
Parsons now behind his quarterback. LA goes in motion. And a flag. We got a false start. And again, these are the types of penalties that make coaches lose their hair. You remember these, don't you?
That's why I have none right now, Charlie. It's frustrating because they're executing, but they just continuously. It's like good play penalty, good play penalty. But we shouldn't be surprised because again, they're both 1-5 teams, and this is what it looks like when you're losing more than you win. So
it's first and 15. They can still get a first down without scoring. Looking into the corner, way away from the intended receiver, LA. He also had Anthony going toward the end zone. So it is second down and 15.
He tried the little back shoulder throw to his receiver, and it was just out of reach. I think they were on different pages because he was looking for a fade versus the back shoulder.
Back to throw again. Across the middle. Incomplete. Cornwell, the intended receiver, the tight end, covered very well as he went across the middle. So it brings up a third down and 15.
Yeah, I like the second guess, but Parsons getting 8, 10, 12 yards a rip. You get down here and you just throw two passes. Now you got to throw the ball, but you're still in field goal range. Maybe you just don't turn the ball over. Just try to get away with some points here.
Anthony comes in motion to the near side. Anthony goes upfield looking for Anthony, but now the quarterback is going to take off and run. Has the first down inside the 5 and out of bounds at the 3. Oh, they said he went out at the 5. He doesn't have a first down. He'll be a yard shy.
Oh, wow.
I thought he was going to get the first down. Might have even scored.
Yeah.
So it's fourth down. Fourth and we'll call it a long one. Looks like they're going to go for it. Well, you've got the man behind him in Parsons out of Philadelphia who has done a pretty good job running the ball today. Let's see. If he don't get a penalty, now they want to put it in the air. Throws and it's knocked away. Defense played this day, and that was Brandon Savage.
And they threw a flag. That looks like a really good defensive play.
Brandon Savage got his hands on it defensively for the Spartans of Norfolk State. The co-captain and cornerback, sophomore out of Baltimore, Maryland. So they picked it up? We don't know.
It's like turnover on downs.
Yeah, second time. They got all the way to the 5-yard line. That's the second straight possession that Howard has turned the ball over on downs. So they've gotten into the red zone twice for the most part.
Right.
Well, they didn't get in the red zone the last time, but this time, and didn't come away with anything.
Norfolk State coaches must have great communication skills because this is the second flag that seems to be thrown on them that's been picked up. I've never seen anything like it. They never picked him up when I was coaching, Charlie.
You just didn't know the right people.
Exactly.
This one coming out of the backfield is incomplete. On the far sideline, Aaron Walker, the linebacker, covering on the play for the Bison of Howard University.
Yeah, just a drop. I mean, they moved the pocket, a good rollout, good throw, and the young man just dropped the ball on the sideline.
We talked about this offensive line of Norfolk State that's been intact for the last year. You've got Kenneth Kirby, left tackle, a preseason second-team all-conference selection. Jalen Powell, who started his first game at center of this year. And then Justin Red at the right guard, and Terrell Lipscomb at the right tackle. So these guys have been together a while. There's a completion. And coming out of across the middle, to Kendall James with his catch. That's a redshirt freshman out of Christian High, Chesapeake, Virginia. And that's going to be the end of the first quarter here. Green Stadium. And it'll be it is Kevin Johnson on the run.
Looks like a nice little third down stop. Again, Johnson likes to bounce everything to the outside, and Howard was ready for that. They were able to run it down and force a fourth down.
So it'll be 4th and 1, ball shy of the 15-yard line, and they stopped at their own.
Let's see if Howard makes sure
14.
He punts that ball.
Yeah. Good kick before. Woo. Well, he really gets a high hang time, doesn't he? This is Boyd. Boyd trying to get up the field, and he does. Breaks one tackle, and he's finally brought down at about the 39-yard line.
That was pretty exciting.
So Boyd at the 39-yard line puts Howard in fairly good field position. The way this game started, it looks like we were going to get a lot of scoring, didn't it?
We thought we were going to get a shootout, and it looks like the defensive coaches just settled down and made some adjustments, and now they're getting a little stall here. But I think it's going to be more offense. If Howard just keeps it on the ground, I think they can have a lot of success with Parsons today.
They mark it at the 40-yard line. Coming to the near side is Alay. Gets to the outside, still on his feet, and down to the 40-yard line of Norfolk State.
Such
good run.
Yeah, he's a quick guy. I tell you, he hits that edge on that jet sweep so fast. And Norfolk going to have to make some adjustments to that. If not, hey, this is the third time we've seen it. I'm like, keep running it till they stop it.
Make that an 18-yard run. Mark it shy as Parsons goes straight ahead for a yard. First down and 10 run by Parsons. Again on the stop defensively is Cephas Harden. He's been all over the place today, number 55.
Yes.
Young man out of Milford Military Academy in Baltimore, sophomore. He also has an interception to his credit this year, a forced fumble and a fumble recovery. It is 2nd down and 9. Trip receivers to the right side. Throwing out of the backfield, Alay. He's tackled immediately as he makes the reception. But not much running room for him once he made the reception. It's like Bobby Price was the man there, the co-captain. Junior, make that a senior out of Virginia Beach, Virginia, from Bishop Sullivan High. Out of Virginia Beach, it'll be 3rd down. 3rd and about 6. Alay in motion to the near side. And we get a flag or timeout. Timeout. Coach Parson decides he wants to talk things over. Talk about Coach Parson. You mean Coach Prince, rather. Ron Prince is his first year, a graduate of Appalachian State back in '92. Last year was a coach at Michigan, and there's a timeout on the field. And we'll step aside with 12:48 left in the first half. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3.
The new 911. Timeless machine.
Along with Henry Frazier, Charlie Neal here, Green Stadium on the campus of Howard University. 14-7 is our score here with 12:48 left before the break at halftime. 3rd down for the Bison. And here's Quentin Williams. He's going to take off and run, picks up the first down, and finally brought down right at about the 30-yard line, right inside the 30, at about the 29-yard line. And again, there to stop him is Cephas Harden.
It's a good football play on third down. The quarterback was able to keep the drive alive and able to move the chains, and that's exactly what Howard needed. And let's see if they can continue without getting a penalty on this possession.
Parsons beside his quarterback. Gives to Parsons, and Parsons straight ahead. Defensively, the stop made by Trevian Blackwell, Jr. out of Richmond, Virginia. And we have a player hurt, and that looks like Parsons.
Oh, no.
He's down with a leg injury.
Hopefully it's a cramp or something. You know, you can ill afford to lose your workhorse on homecoming when he's off to such a magnificent start.
He has been a fantastic show for this Howard University team. Came into the game with 1 touchdown, has a touchdown of a 14-yard run in this contest, accounting for the only points for Howard University. And he is out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Third in the league in rushing a year ago. He's walking off on his own power. That's a good sign. Yeah. Like you said, it may be a cramp.
Yeah, we're hoping. He's definitely an exciting football player you want to watch. And what happens is Norfolk defense has to respect the abilities of Parsons, so it helps loosen up those edges, how number 11 was able to get around on jet sweeps and things like that, because you got to respect what Parsons is going to do running the ball off tackle.
So Josiah Croop comes in, the sophomore out of Friendship College High here in Washington, D.C. Croop has seen some action this year, and now it's a little play action. Quarterback throws, has it complete to Gillespie. Gillespie at the 5 and down at the 4-yard line. And it's Damian Gillespie, Jr. out of Singapore, who made the stop.
And that was all on the quarterback at that time, because we brought in the back end running back. He missed the block. He went the wrong way, then missed the block, but the quarterback would still be athletic enough to make a good throw.
Josiah Croop in there. And Croot has the ball, trying to turn the corner, and he is in for the touchdown.
Well, maybe that's not especially blocking, because he sure was able to get to the edge and was able to smell the end zone for 6 points.
With a 4-yard run, Croot and Josiah Croot, the sophomore, with his second rushing touchdown this year. The first one was a 17-yarder that came against Hornets of Delaware State. Now for the point after is Nick Farris, trying to tie this ball game up. With 11:30 to go, first half. First points of the second quarter. The kick is up, and it is good. So we're all tied at 14 apiece on homecoming 2019 here in the nation's capital. Timeout on the field. All tied. Kissing your cousin today on homecoming, right? You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3.
Enough of it. So, we proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
Back here at Green Stadium at 11:30 to go before halftime, all tied at 14 apiece. I'm looking at some stats here. You're talking about rushing yards. Howard doing a pretty good job today, 167 yards on the ground so far.
That's one of the things we talked about, Howard running the football against, you're talking about an 8th ranked rushing defense, and they actually exploiting that part of the game.
Johnson from the 10-yard line, going to the left side, and he is bottled up. Could not turn the corner that time. Good defense for Howard University. They made sure he did not get very far, and that was Deshaun Simon, a reserve wide receiver out of Baltimore, Maryland, on the special teams, doing the job for the Bison.
And Johnson wants to bounce everything. He wants to get everything on the edge, but sometimes you just got to pound up inside and then get to the edge, and he's actually hurting his team somewhat in trying to do that.
From their own 13-yard line, it'll be first down and 10. Right now, an empty backfield for the quarterback, Jawan Carter. Carter looking, quick throw down the middle, straight down the seam, and it's a first down that time. And the next second catch today for Tyler McElhenney.
And that Carter kid has a live arm, Charlie. I tell you, the slot defender blitzed him. He picked it up right away and was able to thread the needle right to 17 down the seams.
Went to 2 high schools, Ocean Lakes and Bishop Sullivan. Had over 110 catches during his high school career and 18 touchdowns. This time they come to the near side with Savage running the ball, and the ball comes loose. And let's see who has it. The officials are going to say it's going to be Norfolk State retaining possession of the football. Man on the spot to recover that was McFarland. The tight end, Sean McFarland, was right on top of it.
Hey, Johnny on the spot, he was just kind of on his knees right there, and the ball just kind of rolled up to him.
So it'll be second down. They lost about a yard on that play. 2nd and 11. One of the things that Spartans have done today, Henry, is done a pretty good job passing the ball. 122 yards in the air.
Yeah, the quarterback's real good. I mean, he has a live arm, and he seems to be very poised back there.
Again, Carter back to throw. Looking wide open. And the catch is made. Good, or was it juggled or caught?
Yeah, he looks like he dropped it. He put a little bit too much air under that and gave him a good compliment, and he just kind of, guy was so wide open, he just kind of lofted out there. Too much air. But again, they're having wide open receivers, and the quarterback is finding them on pretty much every pass play.
There's Tremaine Talbot that just couldn't reel it in. This time, McElhenney comes to the right side of the screen, on the bottom of the screen. One back behind the quarterback. Here comes the blitz. They look for the screen, and the defense of Howard University is all over the place to make that stop.
What a good play. They tried to run the tunnel screen, and Smith just came right in there, right underneath of the lineman, and was able to make a big-time tackle on 3rd down to force another punt. Looks like the 3rd straight punt for Norfolk State, looks like. So Howard defense has settled down, and they've tied the ball game up, and they're about to get the ball with all the momentum on their side.
Not the best kick today for the punter. And they let it go. Wisely, A.J. Boyd, and it dies right at about the 27-yard line. Make it to 28. And that's where Howard will get the ball for the 5th time this afternoon at their own 28. First time they got the ball, they scored on a touchdown with Parsons on a 14-yard run. They turned it over on downs their next 2 possessions, starting at their own 42, getting to the 40, and then starting at their own 36, getting to the 5 of Norfolk State. And the last time they drove the ball down the field, a 60-yard drive, and they scored. And straight ahead is Parsons. He's back in the lineup. Like I said, you can't keep a good man down.
Hey, that's good to see him, I tell you, because he was one tackle away from housing it. I mean, he got his shoulders squared right down here and almost took it to the house.
From the shotgun again. Now this time Williams back to pass, overthrows Alay on the far side. One of the things you can kind of look at what the defense has done as far as the passing game is concerned. They have kept Kyle Anthony in check today. He has not caught a pass this afternoon. Here's a young man comes in averaging just under 7 receptions a game.
I don't even think he's been targeted today, Charlie. That's very surprising.
And Anthony is the man in motion right now, coming from top to left. Back to pass. Quarterback, he's in trouble. And he is going to go down in the hands of Chavis and Harden.
And again, it was 3rd down, Charlie. Norfolk State did not sit back. Normally they rush 4. They brought pressure, double-team Anthony, just as we talked about. They bracketed him. They double-teamed him, and they was able to get the sack. They're doing a good job, I think, on 3rd down disguising, because they seem like they're playing zone on 1st and 2nd down. On 3rd down, they're blitzing and doubling Anthony. So someone else is going to have to beat them in the passing game.
First time today that Howard University has punted the ball. The left-footed kick is good. And it'll be rolled dead right at about the 32-yard line. So Norfolk State will get the ball 1st down and 10 at their own 32 with 8:13 remaining here in the first half of play.
Hey, we have a flag down there. Let's see, wonder what that is all about. And we was doing good. I mean, we had about maybe 2 possessions without a flag.
Stuart Anderson was the man who was guilty of the penalty. Redshirt sophomore out of Matthews, Virginia. So that'll move the ball back even further for the Spartans of Norfolk State.
Yeah, first time today we actually had 2 possessions, two punts. So the defenses are settling down. I guess we thought we were going to get us an old-fashioned shootout, but the defense have something to say about that.
So the ball will be spotted back at the 18-yard line rather than the 32. First down and 10, Norfolk State. The handoff to the left side this time, and carrying is Raekwon Smith. First time he's carried today, the freshman out of Highland Springs High in Richmond, Virginia. The first career attempt this year. He went 62 yards.
I could see he was pretty. They wanted the little old Redskin counter trade that time where they tried to pull the backside tackle and pull up, but he got going pretty fast. You can see he got some speed with him. But again, he's down our 3rd running back, so maybe they can find a running back that want to hit the hole and get north and south right now.
We haven't seen Hewlett yet. They run about 4 different running backs in this offense. Out in the flat. That was close to being intercepted, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Because it was a late pass out in the flat. You don't want to do that as a quarterback. And then he definitely broke on the ball and almost picked it off. Would have been a great momentum switch for Howard.
Yeah, that was great defense that time by the Howard University and Rodney Denard. Rodney got hurt last week up at Harvard and with a leg injury, but he's back in there today for Howard University team on this 3rd down. Comes the blitz from the far side, but they get it complete. And it's Raekwon Smith, and he's off to the races. Raekwon across midfield, still on his feet. Cuts back in, is finally brought out of bounds. Down around the 30-yard line of Howard University.
You just talked about his explosiveness, Charlie, and I'm telling you, if you ever had a perfect offensive play call for a defense, that was it. Howard bought the house, and you had a screen call.
This time they come to the near side. And the flag.
Looks like they blew it dead before we got going.
Were they under review? The previous play is under review. I'm trying to figure out what they're reviewing. I'm not sure.
Maybe where they placed the ball. I mean, he definitely caught it, unless his knee hit when he tried to catch the tunnel screen. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure what they're looking at either. But a referee is over talking to Jesse Garcia, who is the replay official. Cameron Thompson is the communicator for the MEAC today.
That's a good review for Norfolk because it looks like they were getting ready to lose about 5 or 6 yards on that particular play. So by them blowing it dead, they may have saved themselves some yardage.
While they look at this and try to figure out what's going on, as our referee is going to come back and let us know what happened. Here he is.
They were reviewing a targeting call.
Oh, okay. Anyway, the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference is documenting outstanding legacy of its head football coaches in an effort to tell the stories of not only the legends of college football, but the stories of tremendous men of honor and integrity. And in the coming weeks, they will feature such coaches as Bill Hayes, Billy Joe, Rod Broadway, and of course the one that's on the site right now, Willie Jeffries, the former coach at South Carolina State, here at Howard University. And, of course, he coached at Wichita State. As we go to the Savage to the left side, and Savage runs it straight ahead and gets down to the 30-yard line.
And that was a good off-tackle play right there. They got some positive yards right downfield. They're not trying to fake and dive or sweep. They just went right at Howard University right there in a very positive play.
6:19 to go. So we've seen Aaron Savage, Kevin Johnson, Raekwon Smith running the ball for the Spartans so far today. And again, they keep the ball, but the quarterback decides to keep it this time, and he breaks out, and he's inside the 15, down to the 11-yard line, where the whistle will blow, but it's a first down, more importantly, for the Spartans of Norfolk State. So Jawan Carter with the keeper.
I really like this quarterback, John. It's the first time we'll get the chance to see him and how poised he is, decision-making. And Norfolk, surprisingly, they only had one win on the season with this type of general.
Give him a 19-yard run on that particular play. So it'll be first down and 10. They mark it at the 11-yard line. Savage is the man beside of him. And Savage has the ball at the 5 and spins down to the 4-yard line. Goes Aaron Savage, senior out of Dunbar High, redshirt senior in Baltimore.
I really like what they've done now. They've been running the zone, and now what they're doing is the same look, but they're pulling the backside tackle and then actually kicking out and able to get some positive yardage.
Savage stays in there beside his quarterback, Carter. Talbert in motion to the near side. Looking. Quarterback has room on the left side. Wide open. He'll walk in. Untouched by human hands.
Well, we got a guy down, but I tell you, that was a good football play right there. The quarterback kind of set things up. And maybe he was going to run the ball the whole time because he didn't give the pass a lot of time to set up. He just kind of looked to the right and then just turned left and walked into the end zone for a touchdown.
72-yard drive. One of the offensive linemen down for the Spartans of Norfolk State. We talked about, and it looks like it might be the center, Dominique Jordan, who is kind of new at that position this year. He was the only player on that offensive line that was not part of the offensive line from a year ago, which featured Wes Jones, who was a co-captain.
It might be Jalen Powell. Looks like the
65.
Yeah, so
it's Jalen Powell, the left guard.
Yeah. And he's also their backup center. So
he started the first game of the year.
Yeah, so he's a valuable player. Right. Swing guy.
So the point after by Nardone. He's on to try to make it a 21-14 lead for the Spartans. The kick is up. Splits the uprights, and it is good with 4:44 to go right here from Green Stadium. Kind of interesting. We got a chance to, well, I guess they are going to take a timeout. 4:44, and we'll be back with more from Washington, D.C. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3.
The new 911. Timeless machine.
4:44, the time remaining in the first half, along with Henry Frazier, Charlie Neal here. Sold out, standing room only crowd here at Green Stadium for Homecoming 2019, and Howard University trailing by 7 points to the visiting Spartans of Norfolk State. And Norfolk State preparing to kick the ball off. Going to come down to A.J. Boyd at about the 13-yard line. Boyd trying to find some running room, and he's going to be smothered right at about the 25-yard line. And Howard will get the ball again, first down and 10 at their own 25.
Yep, looked like that was headed to out of bounds. Boyd could have just kind of gambled a little bit, let it get out of bounds and get better field position. But let's see what this drive looks like for Howard. Parsons seems to be healthy. They've been moving the ball up and down the field right now, but they're going to have to get some points when they get down here.
Well, the Spartans had stalled had punted the ball 3 straight times after scoring the first 2 times they had the ball before that last drive. Netted them. So they're going to kick it over. Must have been a penalty or something. So they're not going to start at their own 25. Now they're going to kick from their own 30-yard line. That is Norfolk State. They will kick off. There was a penalty against the Spartans.
Definitely a wise choice. He just ran full spree downfield, made a tackle. Hey, let's make them do it again.
Yeah. Why not?
And Howard definitely have returners that can actually get going once they get past that initial wave.
Again, A.J. Boyd from the 10 this time. And A.J. cuts it upfield across the 30 to about the 32-yard line. So he picks up about 12 more yards than he did on the previous.
Yeah, definitely worth the play. Again, he's an exciting football player. He looks like he gets going north and south right away. And I guess if Norfolk continue to score, we'll get a chance to see him a little more.
Prior to the day, his longest kickoff return was 12 yards. So let's see what happens here with the offense. The handoff to Alay trying to turn the corner, and he does not, because right there to make the stop was Chevalier Williams, sophomore out of Norfolk Granby High. Come up to make the stop. 11 on 11.
Yeah, looks like that was their combat to that little jet sweep. Just bring force. When you see them come across the formation, just go.
They lost 4 on the play. 2nd down and 14. And now fumble, and now Parsons just has to fall on it to keep any further disaster from happening for the Bison. And the ball is all the way back at the 21-yard line. This drive started at the 32. They've lost 11 yards already.
I know Coach Prince can't be happy with how this is turning out right now.
So 3rd down and 21.
Let's see how Norfolk defense plays this one. Will they bring pressure or will they just sit back?
Little inside counter screen, but it doesn't go. Alay was swallowed up immediately, so to bring up a 4th down punting situation. So the drive started at their own 35-yard line. They're going to be punting from their own 23.
And it looks like they were trying to play the odds, because the last time they had 3rd down situation, Norfolk brought the house. So Coach calls a screen on this play, thinking, hey, like when Howard blitzed, they screened and was able to get burnt, but Norfolk did not blitz. Oh, great punt.
Talbot driven all the way back inside the 30 to about the 25-yard line, and Talbot brings it out to about the 33, and a flag comes out.
Yeah, and Howard's getting up like they had the ball. I didn't see it come out, but they got it. But
there's a penalty marker down. Let's see what this one is all about.
A lot of times on those special teams plays seems to be those blocks in the back and things like that.
You know, we talked a little bit about, and everybody kind of knows the Kalen Newton story. Last year's MEAC Player of the Year, this year's preseason Player of the Year, who decided before the game against Bethune-Cookman a couple weeks ago he was going to be one of 4 players who decided to leave the team at that particular time. Of course, it was Khalid Dorsey, the running back, and defensive back John Smith, the 6th, and linebacker Iggy Reynoso. They were the other ones who left the team with Devin Coles was the man guilty of the penalty. Talking about that with Coach earlier this week on a conference call, the coach's conference call, you know, we asked him about some of the things that's been instigated and allegated. He wouldn't comment on some of the allegations that were made, but he said when it comes to players leaving, you know, he said he respects their ability to manage their own careers.
Yeah.
Well, from your perspective.
Well, that's all you really can say, because it does goes both ways as a coach. Coaches tend to come and go as they see fit, and look like the system is allowing players to kind of take power back a little bit and have some choices of their own.
Younger generation, right?
Oh, yeah.
And this one's just thrown away as the quarterback was pressured. That is Carter. Got a lot of pressure that time.
Yeah, I tell you, it wasn't nobody over there, so I thought it maybe got him for grounding, but he wasn't outside the pocket. But
Deontay Davis was the man who put the pressure on him.
And looks like they did throw the flag. Maybe they heard me talking.
Intentional grounding, because it did pass the line of scrimmage. I think that's what the whole, and it's a loss of down.
Yeah, once you stay in that pocket, you got to get the ball near someone.
Coach Scott is not very happy. He's very animated on the far sideline.
But he has both shoes on, so that's a good thing. He's not going to win that battle. There was no one over there, and the quarterback was still in the pocket.
So an 8-yard loss after the loss of down, half the distance. And now, again, they're looking up top. And that could be, defensive back turned his head. I guess they're going to say he turned his head. Unlike the NFL, you can't challenge pass interference in college football.
Can't challenge it, and he did make contact while the ball was in the air, whether he turned his head or not.
Quante Anderson was the defender on that play.
And that maybe if that play was called on the other side, maybe the flag would have came out. You in the Norfolk State, they would have enticed the official on that side to make the call. Over at Howard, everybody was quiet, saying great coverage.
So third down, it's Aaron Savage beside his quarterback right now. Savage goes in motion, empty backfield. And now we got a delay of game. That'll be half the distance.
This is the first offensive possession I've seen Norfolk State kind of just shoot themselves in the they penalties, a couple penalties now, and again, it's 2 minutes and 36 seconds left in the second quarter. This is huge for the Howard's defense to get a stop while they're down here. They still have 2 timeouts left. You have time to get you a stop. Don't do anything stupid down here like a PI or anything. Just kind of play defense and get a punt out of him.
Third down and a lot of real estate in the end zone. He shakes one player, and the ball goes incomplete.
Wow. He had eyes in the back of his head that time, Charlie, because he thought he was dead to rights on that one. But that was a great spin move, and then he had wits enough to just throw the ball in the dirt and live to play another down.
Kassan Dixon, the young man from York, Pennsylvania, was the young man who I believe was defending him that time.
And now, Howard, you just want to set up the return right here. You just don't want to rough the kicker. You don't need a block. And all right, it's a good line driver.
And here comes A.J. Boyd. Great field position no matter where he finishes. And he's down inside the 20.
You couldn't have drew it up any better for Howard.
They're going to mark it at the 15-yard line.
Yep. He got a line drive punt, and then he was able to get it. No one was within 20 yards of him when he got the ball. What Howard did was held up all the punt team defenders and held them up on the line of scrimmage. That was a great special teams play from Howard.
From the 16 of Norfolk State, best field position for Howard to start today with 2:17 to go before halftime. Here in homecoming 2019. Back to pass into the end zone. Push off. No flag. They didn't call it. That was a push off by Anthony. Boy, that was a definite push off. Let me see where Coach Scott is. He should be having a heart attack by now. I mean, that was a definite push off by Anthony. Yeah, he couldn't get it. I could see it from up here. They say Ray Charles would have seen that one.
Hey, that's his first target. That's his first target, and it resulted in a touchdown. And they did not make the call. It looked like it was a homecoming gift for Howard University.
It certainly was. So Williams with his first touchdown pass of the day. Johnson and Crute accounted for the others, and this extra point is good. And we have a tie ball game once again with 2:12 to go before the break.
Yeah, I tell you, we got a good football game here for homecoming, Charlie. 2 minutes left, 21-21. It's a little sloppy at times, but actually the two teams are competing quite hard against one another, and they're evenly matched, and it's actually turned out to be a really good football game. And you got a packed house, homecoming, Washington, D.C. What more could you ask for?
Now, was I over the top on that? Did you see a push off?
I saw a push off, but I'm an offensive guy. I just feel like, the defense guy got in the way, Charlie. And
you had to get him out your way, right?
He was looking for his own space in that end zone.
You had to get him out your way.
All the records, so he's home cooking.
The first reception for him today. A young man who's ranked second in the conference in receiving. Came in with 40 receptions. That's his 41st. He has 174 career receptions. Needs 10 more to tie the school record set by Flea Harrell.
Wow.
From the 5-yard line. Coming out with it is Johnson for Norfolk State, rather. Howard on defense. And he brings it out across. Another penalty flag is down.
A whole lot of flags came out on that one. Yeah, they
have to open a laundromat after today's game.
Yeah.
The laundry's dirty, isn't it?
And it looks like it's going to take them back again. And man, if you know, what do you do down here? Because you just turned the ball over on downs, line drive, punt, Howard, 1-play touchdown. Now Howard still have 2 timeouts left. It's still 2 minutes left, so you want to try to get you at least 1 or 2 first downs, because if not, Howard's going to get the ball with excellent field position once again.
It was holding against the Spartans half the distance. No, it'll be 10-yard penalty. So the ball will be spotted at the 13 rather than at the 16. Well, let's see, wherever they were going to put it. We're not even sure.
Yeah. Looks like you're right, 13-yard line. And
again, it's all tied. You got to look at the Spartan team. They're looking for their first conference win of the year. And here's a pass and out of bounds on the far right in front of the Norfolk State bench on the reception. With another reception for him today is Kendall James out of Chesapeake, Virginia, 9th leading receiver in the conference. Number 15 as a redshirt freshman. He has quite a few receptions, maybe 3 or 4 in this game so far.
A nice little drive route came across. Howard, the defender, got lost in traffic, and he was able to pick up a good yard. Now Norfolk can go for it now. He got some breathing room. Hey, let's air it out.
1st and 10. Carter throws incomplete. And again, this one intended for Talbert.
The little freshman kind of stopped. He stopped his route and he confused the quarterback. The quarterback was leading him. He almost threw an interception. He has to continue to run through that.
That young man was a first-team All-State last year down at Highland Springs High in Richmond, Virginia. Had 5 touchdown receptions and 5 touchdowns kick return and 3 interceptions. Here's out of the backfield goes Johnson. Johnson down the sideline, and he has a first down at midfield.
The screen game is really lethal for Norfolk State today. They actually doing a great job of setting it up and running the screens. And the timing of the screens is impeccable because Howard is getting caught in the right defense when they call in those screens.
Kevin Johnson, 1:38 to go. Here's Kevin Johnson again off the left side. Turns the corner. Flag is down in the vicinity of holding. The umpire threw it.
Maybe that's why he was so wide open. Kind of grabbed him, but
Wayne Marcus, our umpire, threw the flag. Now they're discussing it with the center official. So let's see if Jalen Powell, backup center, or the left guard rather, is the man guilty of the hold. Remember, he went off with a little bit of a injury earlier, but he's back in there and got called for the holding penalty.
Yeah. And we got a minute 30.
And you know what is so ironic about all these penalties we've seen with Norfolk State? This Norfolk State team was not one of the most penalized teams in the conference.
Yeah, I mean, maybe when you're getting blown out and losing, they just don't call penalties on you. So
second best in terms of penalties in the conference. Incomplete.
Good coverage by Howard. That's a good job.
Yeah, Dominique Logan-Neely was the man defending on the play for the Bison. It is second down. 2nd and 20. Justin Smith comes far to the side. Slot is DeKendall James. Looking outside, and it's way too high for Ellington, the intended receiver, Marcus Ellington. So it'll bring 3rd down and 20.
Yeah. We got 3rd down. You got Howard. You have 2 timeouts on defense, and you force a punt right here. With that last, really good return. Yeah, you get your chance to try to put some points on the board and go ahead. They deferred, so they'll get the ball back.
201 yards passing so far on the day for Norfolk State. Here's Carter. He's going to get back to the 45-yard line. A pickup of 5. It'll be 4th and 15. And now Howard calls a timeout.
Good job by the Howard defense, definitely. Now you got 1 timeout, 1 minute and 14 seconds left in the half. You're going to get the ball. And now it's an opportunity. They work on this all the time as a football coach. Normally on Thursdays you do your 2-3 minute drill, 4-minute drills where you give yourself scenarios and try to go down and get some kind of points. So I'm excited to see Quentin Williams. Look like he's going to get the ball handed to him and go make some football plays to try to get points before the half.
You talk about the Quentin Williams getting into the starting lineup because of Kalen Newton leaving. But when Coach Prince got the job here at Howard University, the first player he went and visited to try to recruit was this young man, Quentin Williams, because he said he knew if he told anybody he was going to do, he didn't tell anybody. He didn't tell any assistants or anything. He said because somebody would know I was going after him. They'd have had everybody else going after him. He said I knew what he could do. Wise high school, local kid. And there it is. That's what you were talking about. I think he's given the green light, the punter, to decide which way he wants to go, whether or not that is Richter, whether he wants to take off and run, depending on what the defense gives him.
Yeah, that's good coaching. I mean, they sitting up here just like we're sitting up here, and you're able to see the Howard punt return team is actually posting and they're turning and running. And
so Howard University, 81 yards away from pay dirt, 1 minute 6 seconds to go. And 1 timeout left. Low snap, picks it up, looking up top for Anthony, and it's intercepted. And that is intercepted before he could get to Anthony. And coming up with it is Devin Coles, number 38. Devin Coles, a freshman out of Highland Springs, Virginia.
And the young quarterback kind of forced it. It looks like it was a predetermined, I'm going to throw the ball up to my best receiver and see if he can make a play. He had one-on-one coverage, so you can't be mad at that. And now the tables is turned. Norfolk State, 3 timeouts, 59 seconds left. They got the ball, and they're 53 yards away, and they have pretty good field goal kicker. They're number 1 in red zone offense.
Okay.
And now you got a pretty hot quarterback. So let's see what Norfolk can say. Now it's time for Howard's defense to step up.
You saw with Devin Coles, that young man, a freshman, he was had 5 interceptions last year in his senior year at high school as Savage continues. Aaron Savage still running, and Savage is down to the 31-yard line.
Yeah, great football call. They called the play. Howard thinking they're going to run the ball, nickel coverage, and throw the ball, and they actually ran it. Surprised coach not using one of his 3 timeouts here.
36 seconds on the clock. Again, they're keeping the ball on the ground, and you're trying to understand that, aren't you?
I mean, that's tough because what happened was Howard saw that you were still going to run the ball. They ended up switching out the defensive line, brought in an extra one, and you still run the ball. And then you end up losing about 30 seconds, 22 seconds on the clock that you could have used your timeout. You don't get to take them with you to the second half.
No, you got to spend them now.
You waited all half to put yourself in a position.
They don't add. You can't add them to the second half.
You can't do it. And it's one of those things where you just gotta end up taking the time and actually use the timeouts. You ripped off a 20-yard run. Now go ahead and use the timeout. Now you would have had the clock with about 45 seconds.
Talking about homecoming here. This Howard University school founded in 1867, and of course, Dr. Wayne Frederick is the president, Kerry Davis, the athletic director, and this is the 126th year of football at Howard University. As the collegiate level, it's being celebrated 150 years of college football and the 49th for the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. Second down. Second down and 10. Throwing it up top, has a man there, and it's caught for a touchdown.
Wow.
Caught for a touchdown. Justin Smith on the reception. And Justin Smith's second receiving touchdown of the year.
Well, I guess he didn't need those seconds after all, Charlie. What a good football player. He threw it up to his receiver. He went up and made the play. And I'm surprised he didn't call pass interference because the defender never looked back and just went at him. Or maybe he was waiting to see if he caught the ball.
So they're going for the point after to try to make it a 28-21 lead going into halftime. And it's up, splits the uprights, and this one is good. Norfolk State with 25 seconds to go. Thanks to the interception by the young man Devin Coles, who had 5 interceptions as a senior at Highland Springs High last year on a team that went 15-0 and won their 4th straight 6A title in the state.
That's one of those really powerhouse football programs down there in Virginia. That was all. That couldn't have went any better for Norfolk State. That was, it was one of those things. You get the turnover, then you get yourself 3 plays, go ahead touchdown, and now you go in the half with some momentum.
Second touchdown pass of the day for Juwan Carter, which gives him 13 passing touchdowns for the season. $29 yards on that pass play for the touchdown. Now picked up by A.J. Boyd, trying to turn the corner, and runs out of bounds in front of the Howard University bench, and a late flag comes in.
The kid was at least 3 yards out of bounds when the guy came up with him. The one guy was holding him, okay, you don't throw that flag, but the other guy just ran in and hit him. You have to know that. Now you're giving Howard 15 more yards, so now they got a chance. You got one timeout, 20 seconds. Hey, they're going to take a shot now.
Cameron Foreman, the man guilty of the penalty. And that is going to be a 15-yard penalty against Norfolk State. Moves the ball down to the 42-yard line. First down and 10. Williams, ball batted in the air. One of the up linemen got his hands up in there. It's interesting. I'm watching the Spartans defensive back Bobby Price. He was man-on-man, one-on-one coverage. He's the strong safety with Kyle Anthony, and he's talking to him all the way back to the huddle. You ain't catching nothing today on me, son. And now the quarterback has nowhere to run. And I guess they're just going to let this one run out and go in the locker room, being content to be down by 7 points and everybody intact.
You just never know what's going to happen next.
So we're at halftime here in the nation's capital. 28 for Norfolk State, 21 for the Bison of Howard. Homecoming 2019. You're watching MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3.
You more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
The Green Stadium on Homecoming 2019 for Howard University, and Norfolk State with a 28-21 lead. Juwan Carter with 2 touchdown passes. He also has run one in for a touchdown for Howard University. Parson and Crute with touchdowns running. And we'll be back with more in a moment.
So how long are we out for now? Scott. How long is this one?
We proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
Back here at Green Stadium, where it's all 28-21 in favor of Norfolk State over Howard University. 230 yards passing for the Spartans of Norfolk State. 155 yards rushing for Howard University, and kind of fits in with what you've been talking about, right?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I mean, Carter has been, as advertised, it's been great to watch him, and definitely, worth what we've been talking about and seeing.
Well, back with more from Howard University. Timeout on the field. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3.
The world's never gotten enough of it. So, we proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
We're at halftime here. It's Homecoming 2019 at Green Stadium on the campus of Howard University in Washington, D.C. Charlie Neal along with Henry Frazier. And Henry, your thoughts on the first half?
Well, I thought it was a pretty even first half. A lot of penalties out there. I mean, that's to be expected when you got two teams that's 1-5. But both teams are competing for their coaches, for their universities, and what makes it be a pretty exciting football game.
Well, one of the things we do know that Howard will get the ball to start the second half. They're trailing by 7. And talking about some of the highlights of the first half, of course, it started off every time they got the ball, they wanted to score, right?
Yeah, I tell you, I thought it was going to be a shootout. And then, football is a game of adjustments. The defensive coaches began to make adjustments. They saw what the offenses were trying to do. And now what has to happen, the offense is going to have to make adjustments, because you can't just count on just throwing the ball up for grabs and having the receiver just make big plays.
Well, again, we looked at the fact that Kyle Anthony has scored 1 pass in the ball game. It was for a touchdown, fortunately, and it was good for 16 yards, and it tied the score 21 apiece in the second quarter.
Yeah, and he's their big play guy, and 1 target, even though it was for a touchdown. We kind of wondered was the push off there, but you want to try to get him more involved. You want to, they're double covering him and bracketing him. So that means there's some other people going to have one-on-one coverage. So for a freshman quarterback, you want to put him in a position where you can find the one-on-one coverage.
Well, also you look at the other side, you look at the quarterback, Mr. Carter for Norfolk State. He's thrown a couple of touchdown passes in the game, a 19-yarder to James and a 29-yarder to Smith with 25 seconds to go, which has given him that 7-point advantage.
Yeah, and he's been poised the whole half, Charlie. I like the way he played the game. He runs when he has to run, but he is a passer that can run. He's not one of those guys that can run around and then just happen to make some passes. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do for the second half.
Well, it should be a good one. Second half, Howard will get the ball to start the second half. Of course, they've hung tough. Both teams trying to come out with a victory. It would put the Spartans would be their first conference win. They would be 1-2, and that would make Howard 1-2. But also Howard's coming in 1-1, and they have a big game next week down at A&T.
Anytime you want to go down to A&T and play them, they're loaded. They're one of the best football teams in the country, let alone in HBCU land. And both of them had, Howard had the fortune to be able to play, Bethune, who was really, one of the top teams in the conference. So they see they're battle tested, but that's going to be a whole different level when they go down to Greensboro and try to play A&T. But they can compete with Norfolk State. They have a chance to actually pull out a homecoming victory, but they got to cut down on the penalties and be able to execute on offense.
On the other side, you talk about Bethune. That's who Norfolk State will face next down in Daytona Beach.
Yeah, and Bethune got a defense that's very stingy and very tough. So, actually, the way they play offense matches what Bethune does well on defense. But if Norfolk State defense continue to do what they're doing today, they'll go down against Bethune with their first conference victory.
Well, and of course, don't forget Bethune has a young man named Jimmy Robinson.
I know we're not talking about that, but but Jimmy had another exciting game on Thursday. But look at this band out here, Charlie. What'd you think?
Well, this is the University Marching Band. It's halftime. They're putting on a show for the crowd here. The sold-out crowd for homecoming 2019. The young ladies have just been dancing, and the whole band is dancing right now.
Yeah, and it's standing room only on the sidelines. Everyone is videotaping. People on the hill. Festive homecoming.
Well, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
Back here at Green Stadium. Charlie Neal, Henry Frazier, about to get the second half underway. Only one turnover in the first half, and that was by Howard University. Came just before halftime, and a young man by the name of Devin Coles, a freshman, picked off Howard quarterback Quentin Williams, which allowed the Spartans to go back down and score with 25 seconds left. And that's why we have a 7-point advantage for Norfolk State.
Yeah, points off of turnovers. And it was one of those first down turnovers that coaches, you hate all turnovers as a coach, but you really hate a first down turnover because it's almost, you lose the possession on first down. You had an opportunity to do things.
So Howard gets the ball the second half. Is that an advantage for the? You got to do something with it.
Yeah, you want to get your kickoff and get you some good field position. And then we'll be able to see what halftime adjustments that Howard offense has made in the locker room, how they're going to combat Norfolk State's defense, and they want to go down and get some kind of points.
But again, we talked about Howard University's defense. Last year they were last in total defense, allowing 448 yards a game. Right now in defense, total defense, they're 7th in the conference, giving up about 448 yards a game. So they're about where they were a year ago.
Yeah, not much improvement there, but would you say the old saying, you are who we thought you were, and
yeah. We also know that Howard has one MEAC title under its belt. 1993, Steve Wilson was the coach. Jay Walker, the quarterback, was the player of the year. What a team they had. Fleet Harrell, who recruited and was the head coach here for a while, and recruited Kyle Anthony, who's on the verge of breaking his record, was on that 1993 team.
Showing his coach a lot of love by breaking his record, huh? But that just goes to show, Coach Harrell, definitely one of the great Bisons of all time, can recognize talent.
And MEAC had some great showing. They have 12 players from the MEAC that's currently playing in the National Football League on Sunday, which is a pretty good sign, including Antoine Bethea, a former Howard University defensive back, in his 14th season, playing with the New York Giants right now, had a team-high 11 tackles in their loss to the Vikings last week. But 12 players, 2 rookies And A&T in South Carolina State has the most. Each team has 4 players playing in the NFL.
And I'm not surprised by those stats. It seems like Bethea has been playing forever. We've been saying his name for a long time.
He's as old as Tom Brady, isn't he?
Yeah. He's crazy.
Of course, we know, looking at other games today, FAMU, South Carolina State, Delaware State, and Morgan State are playing for Morgan's homecoming. And on Thursday night, Bethune in Durham beat North Carolina Central 27-13 for their 4th straight win. Kevius Williams, 2 touchdowns. Jimmy Robinson, 2 touchdowns. As it comes to A.J. Boyd. Boyd tries to get across the 20 and is brought down right at the 20-yard line. And the man who's been doing it all day, Cephas Harden, comes up with another stop defensively.
And they've seemed to fix the helmet issue with him, and so that's a good thing. That was actually great kickoff coverage for Norfolk State's defense to be able to hold them. Didn't kick it in the end zone, still was able to get down and stop them at the 20-yard line.
So it'll be 1st down and 10 for Howard University. Let's see what they can come up with this time. Quarterback rolls right, throws to Parsons, but nothing doing. Can't get very far because Chavez Williams was right there, the sophomore out of Granby High in Norfolk, Virginia, after a gain of maybe a yard.
Yep, I like moving the pocket, getting the quarterback on the edge, but a lot of these are it looks like they're predetermined throws.
Back to pass. Quentin Williams has some running room, takes off, has the 1st down across the 35 and out of bounds in front of the Norfolk State bench. Right at about the midfield stripe.
Yeah, we had man-to-man coverage. Everybody turned and ran with the receivers. Quarterback recognized it right away. Again, moving the pocket, getting him outside, and he just kind of run. I just like for him to go ahead and step out of bounds. Don't need to take any of those hits.
At the 47, it'll be 1st down and 10 for the Bison. Parson straight ahead for 2. Maybe not even 2. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
It was
yard, maybe.
It was soft in the middle in the first half, but now it looks like Norfolk done got a little stout inside there. Parson was having his way in the first quarter.
He went back and did the homework at halftime, right?
Yeah. That's what it's all about, halftime adjustments.
Aaron Speller and his crew up front doing a good job with Nigel Chavis. 2nd down and 9. Here's the quarterback rolling to the left. Throws. And it's out of bounds. Kyle Anthony, the intended receiver, on the near side. But Devin Cole's the man who has an interception already that set up that last touchdown before halftime for Norfolk State, was the closest Spartan to it.
Yeah, you can't throw the ball laid out in the flats. That's always a no-no right there. But again, it looks like Howard's halftime adjustment is to go ahead, get the quarterback moving a little bit so he can get on the perimeter and make some plays, even have those pass throw options.
3rd down. And now we got all kinds of stuff going on now. Is it offsides or is it they're going to call a false start? They're going to call a false start. So it'll be 3rd down after that false start. 3rd and 14. 13-32, second half just getting underway. Quentin Williams drops in back and throws, looking for L.A. And it's almost intercepted again. This time, downfield was Chavez Williams, who almost came up with the INT, intended for L.A. So it'll bring up a 4th down punting situation for the Spartans, for the Bison, rather.
It was good coverage. The defender had really good coverage on him. Again, a little late throw by the quarterback. I would like to go ahead and release that ball a little sooner.
Talbert at the 10. Talbert down to the 17. So first possession of Norfolk State in the second half. And that brings on Jawan Carter. They had 3 turnovers in the first half against North Carolina A&T last week. They've done a pretty good job of holding on to the ball so far today. Preseason, the Spartan team picked to finish 7th in the conference. Have not gotten to the quarterback today in terms of sacks. But they were trying that time. When you weigh, that's way off sides, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, something must have drew him on me, but I guess not. He just heard his own thing and just saw his own thing. I guess the defender's supposed to just watch the ball, but
that's Aaron Motley, the defensive tackle, junior out of Richmond, Virginia.
He may know a lot of those guys over there.
Yeah, they all came from the same high school, Highland Springs. So.
Oh yeah. They probably practiced against each other many times.
A lot of young people on this team, and you talk to Coach Prince, and he was talking about the fact that you have all these freshmen on this squad, plus what he's going to be recruiting. And I asked him, I said, do you have a timeline on when things will turn around for this program? He said he feels like very positive that next year will be their year. Yeah. You have all this experience. I mean, look at all the freshmen that are playing on a regular basis for Howard right now.
That's definitely an encouraging sign. Hopefully you have those patient fans that kind of like next year will be our year.
Well, a first down is gained by Norfolk State on that lunge on that last run. They moved the ball right at the 29-yard line. Remember, this drive started at their own 17. So it's first down and 10 for the Spartans right now. Aaron Savage in the backfield beside his quarterback. Down the middle. That has worked pretty good for the quarterback and his receivers today. A quick hitter. And that is Kendall James once again on the reception. Kendall's had a pretty good day.
Yeah, and what they're doing is the slot defender is supposed to check him. He'll come in and blitz off the slot guy. He runs his drive route. The safety has to come third level to pick him up, and by the time you get there, there's 5 to 8 yards already gained. Kendall
James transferred in from Coastal Carolina, was injured after 3 games and was redshirted. Now let's see. Are they going to call offsides because the defender got back and then the offensive player moved? So now it's a discussion of which way they're going to throw this flag. We had a movement on the defense. He jumped back, and then the offensive player, number 77, Kirby, he jumped. False start. 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, the defense can get back. That's one thing they can do. They can jump, get back.
So Kenneth Kirby, the preseason second-team all-selection tackle, was guilty of the infraction. So it'll bring up second down and about 9. Keeping it on the ground. Hard running that time by Aaron Savage.
And Savage has been really, to me, that back of all those backs that they have has been really consistent, being able to run the ball inside the tackles for Norfolk State.
But who comes on right now? Raekwon Smith. Watch him.
Raekwon the chef.
Freshman. He's a Highland Springs kid, too. So we've got all these Highland Springs people on both sides of the ball. From Richmond, Virginia. They put Highland Springs on the map today, haven't they? Across the middle, and it's caught, and still on his feet, and going down the field is Justin Smith, and Justin Smith is going to go all the way. 65 yards.
And this is why you run those drive routes, because you got defenders have to come third level. If you break the tackle, there's no one behind to make the stop.
And that is Justin Smith's second touchdown reception today. He had a 29-yarder reception with 25 seconds to go before halftime. And now this one for 65 yards. Justin Smith, that's his longest of the year, his third touchdown of the year. And the point after coming from Nardone. And it's up. And it is good. Out on the field, 34 for Norfolk State, 21 for Howard University. 10:24 to go, third quarter. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3.
Never gotten enough of it. So, we proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
Green Stadium is the site of 2019 Howard University football homecoming. They trail right now by 2 scores to the Spartans of Norfolk State, 35-21. Norfolk State came into the game 0-2 in conference play, 1-5 overall. Their only win came against Virginia State, 44-21. Carter threw 4 touchdown passes in that game against Virginia State. A.J. Boyd from the 13. A.J. Boyd hemmed up at about the 25-yard line. And that's where Howard will get the ball, first down and 10. Score was 28-21 at the half. It was tied 21-21 just before halftime, and an interception set up the go-ahead touchdown for the Spartans just before halftime, with Carter throwing a 29-yarder to Smith. And Smith again with another touchdown of 65 yards just a moment ago. Out in the flat, here's the second reception of the day for Kyle Anthony, and he's good for about 8 yards.
And that's one way to give him the football. Just, a little quick hitch pass, let him catch it and run. Got picked up 9 yards. Again, you're not letting the quarterback have to do too much reading.
Ball spotted at the 34-yard line. Quick count. No huddle. Here's Parsons, gets the first down, and is outside the 40 to about the 41-yard line. Gain of 7 on that play.
2 good football plays. Let's keep the drive going.
First down and 10. Receivers to the near side right now. Parson again goes straight ahead, maybe a yard. First down and 10. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Games happen and momentum switch so much. You don't want to say this is a must-score drive, but I think Howard definitely want to at least get the field position flipped.
Back to pass is Williams in trouble, and he's going to go down. He is going to go down. And again, big number 98, Chris Myers, tied for 3rd in the MEAC coming into the game, and sacks, comes up with another one. Big loss.
Yeah.
3rd and 17. And again, Williams is sacked. So 2 sacks on that one drive. And on both of those, who's in on it? Chris Myers.
Yeah. This is not a good sign for Howard right now, because it's one of the things we talked about. Offensive line and pass protection was one of the keys for Howard. Knowing Norfolk State wasn't getting a lot of sacks during the year, but it looks like it's going to be a great stat game for Norfolk State's defense now, because this may be 3 or 4 sacks today, and they'll move up in the middle of the pack after playing against Howard's offensive line.
Trey Talbert back to receive this punt. Fields it at the 29. Talbot up to the 35, and that's as far as he's going to go. When you look at Howard's last 3 possessions, or 4 possessions, it was an interception halftime. The clock ran out on them, and they punted the last 2 times they had it, and the 2 times here in the 3rd quarter. There's a timeout on the field. 8:04 is the time remaining in the 3rd quarter. 35-21. Norfolk State on top of Howard University. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3. Back with more from Washington, D.C. in a moment.
Enough of it. So, we proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
Along with Henry Frazier, Charlie Neal here. Homecoming 2019. Capacity crowd on hand here. Green Stadium on the campus of Howard University in the nation's capital. And it's first down and 10 for the Spartans of Norfolk State, starting at their own 34-yard line. Coming to their near side is Johnson, and he doesn't get anything, maybe a yard at the most on that play.
Yep, him again, trying to get to the edge, trying to extend the play, and Howard's on top of that. Looks like he's a little gimpy right now.
Yeah, he's calling for help from the sideline. Kevin Johnson was a walk-on and a two-time Rookie of the Week this year. He's a freshman. 84-yard touchdown run was a school record. He had that against Montana State earlier this year when they played them. And that was a school record for a touchdown run, 84 yards. He had 112 yards rushing in that particular contest, and he's down ailing a little bit on the sideline. 7:42 is the time remaining, and he's up. But he's going to be limping off. You know, we talk about this Howard. Again, 7:42 remaining, 35-21 our score. And it's Norfolk State on top of Howard University. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ES.
Of it. So, we proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
With 7 minutes and 42 seconds remaining here, you talk about this Norfolk State team. Henry, you're looking at a team that has 11 redshirt freshmen on his squad and 14 true freshmen on this team. But again, they've done a great job recruiting in the state of Virginia, as 58 of the 80 players on that squad are from the state of Virginia. They run it straight ahead, though, with Mr. Johnson, Kevin Johnson, and he is about a yard shy of a first down. It'll bring up third down.
Looked like the quarterback was on that one, Charlie. Yeah, he did the fake pitch, and he just kind of ran in there. They had ran that little toss earlier.
I see, yeah.
Yeah, he faked the toss.
Juan Carter.
But, you know, Latrell Scott is a Virginia guy, you know, going back. And I think Norfolk got the right guy. I think them having patience with him. He's just like he built Virginia State into a powerhouse in Division II. He's going to do the same thing for Norfolk State.
Graduate of Hampton. He played tight end there, 11th head coach at Norfolk State. Third down and 1. Straight ahead. There's the young man we talk about, Raekwon Smith, out of Richmond, Virginia, Highland Springs High. And again, he has that natural, as you said, with being at Virginia State before leaving there and doing such a fine job there. He had that connection with the city of Richmond.
Yeah, Richmond, Petersburg area, and he's coached at a couple other places in the state of Virginia, and he is the right guy for Norfolk. And I think the fans, be patient; they're going to be really pleased with this product over the next 5 to 7 years if they keep him around.
First down and 10. Trying to go around the corner, turning the corner, nowhere to run that time for Raekwon Smith, as the defense of Howard University was right there to make sure he didn't get ahead of stream. Deontay Davis was the man defending on the play for the Bison.
That looked like one of your old school buck sweeps there, right there. A little fake here and came out there with a guard pulling. But Howard has done a great job in protecting the perimeter, because it looks like Norfolk wants to attack the perimeter with the run game, but the Bison has stiffened on the edges.
Heard that there was 3 players on the defensive side of the ball not playing today for Howard University. Did not find out all the details, but there are some empty spots there. Here's a completion. Justin Smith again. He has 2 touchdowns on receptions today, and he's down to the 15. They tried to rip the ball away, and he held on for dear life.
Again, the drive routes. What they're doing is running drive routes, and running their slot receivers across the formations. Howard has been chasing all day long, and once they get it and can't make the tackle, you might as well tag on another 25 to 30 yards.
Well, Justin Smith with another big reception on that particular play. And it's first down and 10. We talked about they don't have Zaman Robinson. They don't have Sadiq Salohu. And they do not have Ty Freeland in the lineup today as they try to turn the corner again. and running out of bounds and being saved by one of the security people was the quarterback, Jawan Carter.
It was a little mix-up within the backfield. You know, you have your third-string running back with Raekwon back there, and the mesh wasn't quite well, and the quarterback being the veteran that he is, he decided, hey, I'm not going to give it. I'm just going to hold on to it, pick up a couple yards, live to play another down. You know, you want to protect the ball. You know, it goes back to this red zone. They back down here again, Charlie, so you can almost count. There will be some kind of points put up by Norfolk State.
3 wide receivers to the top. Back to pass. Carter under a little pressure, and he's not going to get away, and the flag comes down. The center official threw the flag. Let's see what this one's all about. Holding, and it's against Norfolk State. Jalen Powell, the left guard, guilty of the holding penalty.
He's been around a lot today. His name has been coming up quite a bit, and a lot of different things. But, you know, I'm not sure if I want to take this penalty here. It forces a third down. And then,
3rd and long.
Yeah, but you're giving him an extra down.
It was a 2nd and long.
Yeah, I would have declined. You got your sack. You would have been 3rd and long. But, hey, you didn't really gain much, you know, from the sack. You only gained like 4 yards.
Here's pass complete. And down to the 16-yard line on the reception.
Yeah, that was good coverage. He was able to get the tackle. You know, probably years ago, Charlie, it would have been one of them body slam tackles. But the way the rules have changed, he just got him down to the ground.
And again, they McElhenney catching the pass. So it brings up a 3rd and 11. Raekwon Smith in the backfield with his quarterback, Jawan Carter. Carter back to pass. He's going to take off and run inside the 10 and runs out of bounds at about the 7-yard line. He is going to be maybe, let's see where they spot it. Yeah, it's going to be short by about 2 yards. It'll be 4th down and 2. Let's see if they go for it, or are they going to bring the field goal kicker in. Field goal kicker is 3 for 3 so far. 7th in the MEAC in scoring. It looks like they're going to go for it on 4th down.
I mean, as well as the defense has been playing and getting pressure, if you don't get it down here, you know, now you pin Howard back inside the 10. So I like the call by Coach Scott.
They're 3rd in the MEAC in 4th down conversions at 50% right now. From the shotgun, they give it off to Raekwon Smith. Raekwon Smith is inside the 5. Forward motion started at about the 5. Let's see if he got it. It's going to be close. His forward motion was actually at the 5. Yes, he did get it. He picked it up. 1st down. So they go for it on 4th down. A 50% ratio so far this season. And it'll be 1st and goal for the Spartans.
Looks like that increase is going to go up and above 50%.
Yeah, just with that one play, right? Aaron Savage is now in the backfield with his quarterback. And it goes over to Savage. He cuts it inside. He's down to the 2 and down to the 1. He stopped at the 1-yard line.
A lot of missed tackles for Howard University's defense today. You had him in the backfield right there to make a tackle for loss, and you just kind of whiffed and just reached out as opposed to just bringing your pads and bringing the leather. And when you're down here in the red zone, you should practice this pretty much, a few times a week. It's going to be physical. It's going to be things, but you can't just miss a tackle inside the 5 on a run.
Tight ends in there. McFarland is in there, as is Ellington. McElhenney out to the left. And again, they give it off to Aaron Savage, and he walks in.
Looks like we got some flags down there.
Well, number 27 of Howard University, little guy at 5'10", is in the face of one of those big offensive linemen for Norfolk State. It looks like Justin Red, who's 6'5".
You might want to stay away from him.
So they wiped the touchdown off the board.
You know, at least it wasn't 65 this time.
No, it was 62. Dominic Jordan, the starting center. So it'll be second and goal. 1 minute and 11 seconds left here in the third quarter. And Norfolk State threatening to make it a 3-touchdown or 3-score advantage. Again, Aaron Savage is back there. Now he's throwing for the corner and trying to get there, and a flag is going to come out as McElhenney was the intended receiver, but the defender for Howard never got his head around and then bumped into the man before he could get into the end zone.
Yeah, that was a clear one there. Yeah, that was a clear one. He had good coverage. All he had to do is turn around and get his head around, and he wouldn't have gotten the call. You just can't panic in that type of situation when you're the defensive back.
And the penalty occurred in the end zone, so the ball will be placed at the 2-yard line, first and goal.
This will be one of those things. I'm sure Savage will get his chance to get his touchdown back on this play right here. Or the quarterback may pull it out his belly and walk in the end zone.
Justin Smith on the right side. Aaron Savage beside his quarterback on the right of him. First and goal. Quarterback keeps it. Quarterback keeps it. Quarterback gets in the end zone with second effort with blue jerseys draped all over him. He got into the end zone. That is the quarterback, Juwan Carter. Antonio Turner, I believe, was draped all over him, number 91. But it didn't seem to matter to the quarterback. He was determined, kept his legs moving.
And you knew they were going to run some kind of zone read down here where the quarterback was going to either give based on what the defensive end does, or he'll walk into the end zone. We didn't quite walk, but he got in there.
66-yard drive, point after by Nardone. He has been perfect today, and he continues to do so as the Spartans increase their lead to 42-21 with 58 seconds left here in the third quarter. So your quarterback with his second touchdown rushing today. He's thrown, 3 touchdown passes?
He's been pretty electric today, and he was one of our key players to the game, and he has lived up to the billing. And it's one of those situations now, you're down 3 touchdowns when you pretty much have the whole fourth quarter left. You're going to end up becoming one-dimensional to try to get back in the game. Norfolk hasn't turned the ball over, so the defense hasn't really helped you out with turnovers. Special teams, you haven't gotten a big play on special teams. So, this is one of those situations where, hey, this would be a great time for a great big-time kickoff return to help your team out. Because you don't want to sit back and just have to pass the ball every down, because Norfolk showed on a couple of possessions ago, we'll get after you. We know that's all you're going to do is throw the ball.
4 touchdowns rushing this year for the quarterback, Juwan Carter. 2 in this game, threw for 3 touchdown passes so far. And Howard University down by 3 scores, and they have the ball at their own 27-yard line. Well, Coach, you've been in this situation. What are you doing there? You're down 3 scores. Your team has been struggling a little bit.
Well, what you want to do is you want to just try to get you some kind of points at this point. You just want, if it's a field goal, if it's a touchdown, you want to try to get some points to stop the slide, because, it was a 21-21, and they've scored 21 unanswered points. You just want to kind of score, But this next drive is going to tell you a lot about where Howard is going to go from here, because the schedule gets harder from here on out. And Norfolk is one of those teams that matches up well with them statistically, whereas it's pretty much at the bottom. And now it's one of those things we just got to see, in terms of it's an injured player down there, how Howard's going to respond.
That's coach's son. He's the center, starting center, James Prince the third, freshman, 6'4", 275, true freshman. And that's the coach's son. He's out, coach, looking at him, trying to see what the injury is. He has started for them at center all season long. We talked about these freshmen and how both teams are very young. You had Deshaun Ingram, who was a freshman. He was not scheduled to play today. Brandon Johnson, a right guard, also not scheduled to play today. But then you have Brendan Brown, a freshman out of Dallas, Texas. You have Hakeem Dankwa, a freshman out of Toronto, Ontario. Thomas Noah from College Park, Georgia, another freshman. This is just on the offensive line alone that we're talking about.
Yeah, this is not a good place where you lose your center who makes all your calls up front and things like that. He's taking every snap, and now you're down 21 points, homecoming, give it to be the fourth quarter, and then you got to bring in another guy to go and play center and do these type of things for you.
Jalen Williams, he's a sophomore out of Miami. He's warming up at the center spot, number 61.
Yeah. It's one of those things when it rains, it pours. Charlie, you say, have you been in this situation? You just, it's getting thin over there. We have, there's 4 guys that we were told didn't suit up. We didn't know why. Then you're losing other guys to injury. You're losing the season. You're 1-5. It's going to show the character, what type of character this team has now.
James Prince walks off under his own power. More importantly, 3rd down and 2 for Howard University. Last play should be of the 3rd quarter if they do get it off. Clock is running.
It's like coach is going to just try to get out of here.
They made
the 4th quarter.
Yeah, they're going to let the clock run down. So, no time left on the clocks for the 3rd quarter. 15 minutes of football still left right here at Green Stadium on homecoming 2019. So far, disappointing. Down by 21 points as we go into the 4th quarter. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network right here on ESPN3.
The new 911. Timeless machine.
Third down and 2 as we start the 4th quarter here from Green Stadium. And Howard University fumbles the ball. Let's see who has it. They're going to say it's 4th down. They recovered their own fumble. They had 1 turnover in the ball game, and that was an interception before halftime. So it's 4th down after the loss of 2. 4th and 4 now. And that'll bring on the punting unit. This drive started at their own 27. They're going to punt from their own 33.
Unfortunately, it's just not a surprise. You have a center that hadn't been in all year, and it comes in on a 3rd down crucial situation, and it's a bad snap.
Albert is deep to receive this punt. Makes the catch a fair catch right at about the 38-yard line. And that's where the Spartans will take the ball over their first possession here in the 4th quarter. Leading by a score of 42-21. Next week, they'll be down in Daytona Beach. Take on the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats, a team that's won 4 straight games. Big win over North Carolina Central on Thursday night. Then they come home to play Morgan State for homecoming. Then they travel to North Carolina Central, Delaware State, and they end the season at home against the Bulldogs of South Carolina State. Howard, in the meantime, they're off next week, so they get a chance to heal up a little bit. They get a week of idle. 5 of their first 6 games on the road this year. So it's not the kind of schedule you really want, is it?
Oh, no, not at all.
As Aaron Savage turns the corner. Savage across the 45 and about a yard shy of the 40 of the first down marker at the 46-yard line.
And Howard, looks like Savage is hurting. I don't want to see that.
And this offensive lineman down there consoling him. That's Kenneth Kirby.
And he's not moving at all. I hate to see something like this.
It'll be 2nd down and 2. Like you said, let's hope He's okay. Young man out of Dunbar High in Baltimore, Maryland. He only played in 4 games prior to today's contest, but came in averaging 2.1 yards per carry. It's had a pretty big day for the Spartans today. But we're going to step aside. 14:01, the time remaining here. Fourth quarter, 42-21. Howard down by 3 touchdowns. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3.
Timeless machine.
14:01 remaining here in the fourth quarter, along with Henry Frazier, Charlie Neal at Green Stadium in Washington, D.C. Norfolk State leading by 3 touchdowns, 42-21, and they have the ball. Second down and 2. Raekwon Smith in the lineup now, replacing Aaron Savage, who's just hobbled off the field. And it's Raekwon Smith, and he's into the secondary, has the first down across midfield into Howard territory and down to the 49-yard line.
Yeah, you know, we're in Washington, D.C., and Maryland is right next door, and I know, you know, Savage wanted to come kind of like a homecoming for me. You know, now Coach wanted to give a heavy dosage of Savage when you're close to home, and you hate to see a kid go out, you know, with an injury like that, because fourth quarter, you up, you know you're going to run the football, eat up some clock, so it would have been a large dosage of Savage. So now it's Raekwon's turn.
No question.
I'm sure Raekwon will be happy to take these carries.
It is first down and 10 at the Howard 49-yard line. And again, Raekwon Smith. Raekwon into the secondary and finally brought down at the 33-yard line, but not before he picked up some valuable yards all the way down before Quante Anderson made the stop defensively.
This is an offensive line dream right now. You up, you know you're going to run the ball. They know you're going to run the ball, and you're still gashing them for big holes in a chunk of yards. And all Norfolk State offensive line is imposing their will right now. They're eating up some clock and just kind of letting the play clock run down. It's a well-managed football game by Coach Scott.
To the right side goes Raekwon Smith, barrel up, but somehow manages to get yards after it looked like a definite loss.
Yep, he was able to plant, square your shoulders, and come right downhill. It's a good run to get something out of nothing. But again, I caution Howard. You run into the running back. Somebody better keep an eye on that quarterback because
he can run.
Yeah, he's going to read that defensive end. The last man on the line of scrimmage, the last defender, he's reading him. So if he chases, Carter's going to pull it.
Over 200 yards rushing today for the Spartans. Anyhow, with 11:39 to go, this drive started at their own 38-yard line. They lead it 42-21. Second down, 7. And now a timeout is called by Latrell Scott. Something he didn't like that he saw over there. He decided to call. When you talk about, you know, the struggles that Howard's going through, so are the Redskins.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, we talk about the area teams in the Washington, D.C. area. University of Maryland started out strong, have struggled a little bit lately. They did come out with a win, I believe, last week over Rutgers. They're playing at Purdue today. But there is a timeout on the field. With 11:24 to go, Latrell Scott took one. We're going to take one. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3.
Well, that about sums it up.
Second down and 7 for the Spartans. And the handoff to the right side. Raekwon Smith tries to turn the corner, run out of bounds. Not much running room there for him. Maybe a half a yard on the play, if anything.
And right now it looks like Howard's defense is like, we're going to sell out. We're going to bring 7, 8, and go on man-to-man coverage, and because they don't think Norfolk's going to throw the ball again. And leaving themselves quite vulnerable right now.
So it's 3rd down. Not much going on that last play. Let's see what they do on this one. Leading by 21. In motion is Justin Smith. He has a pair of touchdowns today. He goes across the middle, throwing down deep, and that should be a touchdown, but it's also interference, but no flag.
Wow.
Boy, that was, again, McElhenney on the reception.
It was a great pass and throw, and a great catch, and great touchdown, but how do you not call pass interference on that play? He just was grabbing them and everything, and him to maintain his concentration and still catch the ball, that's remarkable.
Yes, it was. Here in the 4th quarter, and it's 48-21. Here's Nardone on for the point after. He's been busy kicking extra points today. And that's his 7th extra point of the day. 49-21.
Well, I mean, they've reached their – Howard's giving up 47 points a game, and I didn't think Norfolk State had the firepower on offense to hit that number, but I was wrong.
I mean, you say 47 points a game. It's not nothing you want to be proud of. I mean, they gave up 79 to Maryland, 54 to Youngstown State, 41 to Hampton. Bethune-Cookman scored 37 on them in last week, 62 against Harvard.
Yeah, and now Norfolk comes in here, one of your lower-ranked teams in the conference, and got 49 on you with 10 minutes left, and it could still get more. And if you don't capitalize on a team like this, and looking at who they got left to play, this really presented, one of the bright spots or opportunities for Howard to get a victory, and this could end up being one of those 1-10 seasons.
It certainly could be. They beat the Delaware State team. Like I said, it doesn't get easy for Howard University. They play A&T, North Carolina Central, South Carolina State, FAMU, and Morgan State to end the season as we get the return back to the 20-yard line for Howard University. Well, we were talking about some of the downsides of athletics in the Washington, D.C. area. How about the Mystics?
Yeah.
We have to say congratulations to them winning their first ever WNBA championship. And, of course, Coach Tebow, his first ever after all the years he's coached as far as the head coach in the WNBA. And the Nats.
The Nats, yeah, they on today. Yeah, man, we get it going.
Here's a quarterback, Smith. And he has it complete, and it's complete up the near sideline. And that is Dooley, Justin Dooley, the junior out of Kansas City, Missouri, coming up with the reception. That's only his 3rd reception of the year. 1st down and 10. Now flag's going to be whistled against Norfolk State because they had a player late getting off the field. They're going to have illegal substitution. And it was Ricky Thomas Jr. trying to get off. He was limping off, but he didn't get off in time.
Yeah, well, if you're hurt, you need to lay down because coach is not going to like that because they're telling me you're not hustling. But one good thing you see, Prince is back in at center. So that's a great sign. I mean, he walked off quite gingerly, but when you're the coach's son and maybe coach went over there and gave some dad advice and got him back out there, and he could probably talk a little harsh to him without getting any backlash.
I'm trying to find the referee. Oh, there he is. They finally moved.
Yep, we'll go 1st and 5 here.
Yeah, it was illegal substitution. And like I said, Ricky Thomas couldn't get off in time before the ball was snapped. And here's Parsons. And Parsons at the 45-yard line, about a yard shy of a 1st down. It'll be 2nd down and 1.
That's good. I'm glad they're still keeping Parsons in the game, giving him some carries. But if it's at this point, maybe you're not going to really come back. So
I'll say that.
It's 4 touchdowns, and you're getting sacked, and they running the way they running the ball.
And there's an offensive lineman down again. This time. That Fleming. Dankawa. There's a player down, but a good run by the quarterback, Quentin Williams, who picks up the first down all the way to the 41-yard line and across midfield of Norfolk State. But there's a timeout as they tend to the injured player down there.
Yeah, another lineman. We just don't want another lineman to go down. Hopefully he can get himself going and get back in there.
Yeah, that's Aneem Dankwa. He's one of those freshmen out of Toronto, Ontario, went to the Taft School. Big kid, 6'8", 3.55.
Yeah, he's huge. He's huge, Charlie. And you see,
that's more than big, isn't it?
They were trying to help him up, and they don't need a lot of people. They were telling him, man, you're going to have to push yourself because it's not going to be able to pick you up. He's moving pretty slow now. Hopefully he can just get himself back in there.
First down and 10, Howard University. $9:10 to go. Parsons straight up the gut. Parsons into the secondary. And he gets a first down to the 20.
Yeah, that's just as good as any pass play they're going to have today. So that I'm glad to see coaches still running the ball and still getting Parsons cuts. He's clearly been your best offensive player today.
And he's picked up some more yards. Came into today's game as the 5th leading rusher in the conference. Goes ahead once again for a couple of yards. Gillespie is downfield trying to block and trying to get into an altercation with one of the defensive backs, and referee comes in and breaks it up.
Yeah, DB kind of tossed him like a little, just tossed him to the side, and
he didn't like
got
it.
up and want to yell at him.
Over the middle, intercepted. And coming up with the interception for the Spartans of Norfolk State, second turnover today, is Nair Quinterly. Nair Quinterly with the defensive interception, leading tackle on this team. You know, one of the things coming in, Henry, when we talk about the defense of Norfolk State against the run, when all your secondary people are leading you in tackling, it doesn't say a whole lot for you. But Quinterly coming up with that big interception. He had an interception against Howard when they played down in Norfolk State last year. So that's his second time he's intercepted Howard, and his second interception of the year.
Yeah, and it was a good play. I mean, he's a safety. He's reading the quarterback all the way. Quarterback threw the ball, seam route, going down the middle, and fairly easy interception for him.
So from their own 23-yard line. Straight up the gut. Here we go. New running back in the lineup for the Spartans of Norfolk State. And that is Nikai James, a redshirt senior. He's out of Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, he's definitely want to get some. He's close to New York. He's a redshirt senior sitting behind all those young guys. He got fresh legs. He's looking like he's going to take it to the house. And we also got a new quarterback in there.
New quarterback in the lineup.
I guess it's time for everybody who got on the bus, get you an opportunity to get you some playing time.
And the quarterback is Sibian Stone, a freshman out of Virginia Beach, Virginia, Tallwood High. And again, turning the corner and out of bounds in front of the Howard bench, and a late flag's going to come out. Nikai James, 5'8", 170 pounds, went to American International College before coming over to Norfolk State.
I remember American International College. That's where I broke my hand. Back in 1988.
Before I was born.
You might have called the game.
Probably did. So we got some unnecessary roughness. UNR against Howard University on the late hit out of bounds, and that moves the ball even closer to the goal line for the Spartans of Norfolk State with 7:19 to go in the clock moving.
And, Charlie, these are all backups out there right now. And these guys work hard and practice all week long. So don't think they for a second that they're not going to try to score. When they get their hands on that ball, they're looking to go.
Last 4 possessions, Norfolk State has put the ball in the end zone. And in doing so, they built up a 28-point lead, a 4-touchdown advantage over Howard University with under 7 minutes to go.
Yeah, it was a packed house. And I think after that, that 40, when they got 42 points, fans started to go onto the yard and start enjoying homecoming festivities. And
well, you got to remember, it was 28-21 at halftime. And that 28th point came just with 25 seconds to go after a turnover by Howard.
Yeah.
Again, they keep the ball on the ground, and it'll be 3rd down.
They don't want to mess with their red zone percentage. So if they get that ball inside the 20, Charlie, Coach Scott may be trying to get some points. So if they stay outside the 20, they got a chance to go on.
They don't want to mess with the red zone percentage.
Oh, man, it's so good.
They've gotten in there quite often. They've only punted 3-4 times today. "11 possessions. This is the 12th possession for Norfolk State today. 7 touchdowns, 4 punts. Quarterback keeps it, and he's going to get a first down inside the 10 and run out of bounds at about the 6-yard line.
Defensive end crashed down like we've been talking
red zone.
about. They're going to get points. It was a great read by the quarterback. Defensive end crashed down. He chased this, and then he just pulled it. Was able to pick up a first down. Then you got 1st and goal, and this percentage in the red zone is quite high.
So Stone is the quarterback, Sabian Stone.
He's a freshman. He wants to score.
And James, a redshirt senior, is beside him in the backfield, number 41. Let's see what they come up with. The handoff, and it's the senior dropped down, and actually he lost about a yard.
He almost got out of there, though. It was daylight over there. He almost got out of there.
James stumbled, couldn't get through. It'll be 2nd down and goal here in the 4th quarter. Disappointing day for the homecoming crowd, but the parties will live on, won't they?
They will definitely live on Georgia Avenue all the way down to Shaw Community Center. It's going to be partying up and down here all through Washington, D.C. But the real party would be out at Bowie State University, not get out there for homecoming.
Here's James cutting it back inside. He's down at the 7.
Yeah, you got to wonder. You got a bye week coming up for Howard University. They've been losing really bad, ugly losses, and I'm just looking at the sideline, looking at the body language of the players and the coaches, and they got a lot of work to do. Not just in terms of wins and losses, in terms of the morale of this program. Under a first-year head football coach, you want to see what's going to take place after that bye week.
Quarterback keeps it. Stone trying to turn the corner. He is not going to turn the corner. Howard University right there to make sure he doesn't get into the end zone.
Yeah, you'll see if coach really cares about his percentage. Do we go for a field goal here, risk it getting blocked, going back for points, or do you just run the ball here?
Denard was the man that made the stop defensively. So 4th down. Let's see what they come up with. Are they going to run the ball? They're going to take a delay of game, call a timeout, or bring the field goal kicking unit on?
I mean, it's interesting to see what he does. I mean, because coach is almost in a no-win situation right here.
Well, they've 2 for 2 in the red zone in field goals so far this year. Play clock just ran out. And now they get a delay of game. So that moves the ball back to the 17-yard line. It'll be a 40-yard field goal attempt from there.
You know, and Coach is agonizing over this. I know Coach Scott. He's a first-class guy because you take the delayed game and then you're still going to run the ball. He's not going to throw it in.
Right.
But you still take it, you move it back. I'm going to run the ball. I'm not going to risk a kick. So it's not trying to rub it in Howard's face, but you just can't.
You're losing your percentage.
Yeah, yeah, he's definitely losing that. But from a class move, you took the delayed game, you know, and you know, but you can't just. But you can't kick it and risk it getting blocked. You can't do it.
Here's James turning the corner, and he is brought down, and it'll turn it over on downs for the first time today. On fourth down, the ball will be spotted at about the 13-yard line.
And that was the right thing to do. And it was a class move because I've been around we've been around a while, but that was a good job.
That drive started at their own 23. We'll be back. 2:18 is the time remaining. Here you're watching MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3.
Timeless machine.
2:18, the time remaining in this one. 49-21, our score. Howard University down by a lot of points there, and this pass down the middle goes incomplete. Cornwell, the intended receiver, Michael Cornwell out of Owings Mills, Maryland. It is second down and 10. Again, Quentin Williams bottled up there and sacked by the defense of the Spartans of Norfolk State. They came in with only 3 sacks this year coming into today's game after 6 games. So
I don't know how many they have today, but they're going to jump in the stats on that. Quite a few.
Third down and 12 after a loss of 2 on the sack. And they keep the ball on the ground, and not much running room there for Howard University. They put some new people in there. That's Josiah Crute, who saw some action earlier in the contest, but it'll bring up a fourth down. 1:28 is the time remaining. This drive started at their own 13. They're going to punt it from their own 9.
Going the wrong way, Charlie. Well, got a minute.
13. Clock running. Good kick. They didn't even send anybody back. That is Norfolk State to return this. And it dies right at the 40-yard line. So that's where the Spartans will go to work. First down and 10. With under a minute to go. 58 seconds to be exact.
Look like they'll be probably in that best position for a winning team, that victory formation. Go take a couple of knees and I don't know how much celebrating the Howard University football team would do, but there's a whole city that's going to be celebrating and enjoying this Saturday afternoon in your nation's capital.
Interesting. Howard picked in the preseason poll to finish 4th, Norfolk State to finish 7th. And the change of events and the way the standings are right now in the conference. Of course, you know Bethune-Cookman, they won 4 straight. They're up there with North Carolina A&T in terms of the conference. A&T is 2-0 going into today's contest. And in fact, A&T must be off this week. They have a bye. South Carolina State's 1-0. North Carolina Central 1-2 now after their loss to Bethune the other night. Howard falls to 1-2. Delaware State, they're playing Morgan State today for homecoming.
They've already lost that game.
They have lost that game.
Morgan's won, yeah.
Oregon is 1-2. Norfolk State becomes 1-2. Delaware State 0-4. And Florida A&M and South Carolina State, if they win that one down in Orangeburg, South Carolina, they will go to 3-0.
And it's 21-14 for that game right now. FAMU is up, so it's a 4-headed race for me and the MEAC. You got Florida A&M, South Carolina State, Bethune-Cookman, and of course North Carolina A&T.
Well, that's going to do it for this contest. It's homecoming 2019 from the campus of Howard University in Washington, D.C., and it was all Spartans. I mean, for one point, it was tied at 21. It was 28-21 at the half, and it ends up to be 49-21 as Carter, 4 touchdown passes, which equals what he did earlier in the season when they played Virginia State. 4 touchdown passes for him today, Jawan Carter. He ran for 2 more as the Spartans come away with their first conference win of the year, a 49-21 victory over Howard University. For Henry Frazier, Charlie Neal saying so long from Green Stadium in Washington, D.C. 49-21, the score. Norfolk State over Howard. Thanks for watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.